Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to The Crossover. Starring Josh Johnson and Chris McGill. Featuring Christina Thorson. And of course, you, the Instagram live chat. Now, sit back and enjoy this week's edition of The Crossover. Powered by Card Ladder.
What's up, buddy?
What's up?
So we've got a guest joining us in 4 to 5 minutes.
All right.
Sorry, it's not Drake.
Well, it could be Drake. It just might not be the one they're expecting.
It's not Drake's PC. All right. So before we do have our guest join us, he'll be joining us in about 3 minutes. Let's let everybody come in and welcome everybody to the crossover. Today's Thursday, March 17th. This is our last show before the Mints Collective. And we will not be doing one during the Mints Collective, right?
Right.
So this is our last show for 2 weeks.
Right.
So enjoy, guys. Enjoy. Okay. Do we have any quick announcements here and that we can talk about for 2 or 3 minutes?
Yeah, I did end up launching the currencies. So if you're using Card Ladder and you would prefer to view the prices in Australian, Canadian, Euro, and British Pound, we now have that option for you. A few people have already taken advantage of it. We've got a lot of requests for that, so hopefully that helps people out from different currencies to kind of own currency in your collection value.
It's been highly requested. Oh, sorry, yeah. Josh. Yeah, it's a great feature. It's been highly requested. Card Ladder never sleeps. No weeks off, right, Christina?
No days off.
Josh, do you have any mail days?
I finally have a mail day that I'm proud of. I never have mail days on this stinking show.
Let's go. Hey, when will we get rubles?
Oh, that one might have to wait. I don't know. I'm going to see what people ask for next, and then I'll just kind of go from there.
All right.
All right, here's the mail day.
Beautiful card, bud.
Thank you, sir. 2007 Finest Gold Refractor, LeBron. I wish this was the guy joining us, but that's all right.
Maybe that day isn't so far away.
Maybe. What do you got?
Well, you want to tell? All right. Well, Christina.
Yeah.
All right. Let's show the card and then tell the story.
Okay. Here's the card.
Center yourself.
This is the first Luka Grail that we have in PSA. This is a nice little 2018 Select Gold out of 10 Concourse Luka Doncic rookie card. Very nice. I'm getting like the screens instead of the shimmer on the shine on that gold.
Tell the story quickly.
So story quickly goes. We made a deal with a man named Tim, and he flew into Chicago. We drove into Chicago, and it's funny that we are telling this story today on St. Patrick's Day because we ended up actually having to go in on Parade Day in Chicago, which was not really fun. A bunch of drunk people. I'm walking around with this big Luka Grail in my purse back to the car, freaking out the entire time. That someone knew with X-ray vision that I had it in my purse. And we also got to see the river dyed green, which is very green, Josh. It's not like pale green. It's like lime green, Josh. It was weird. It was cool. But yeah, so this is it. It's numbered 3 of 10.
You can see it in Card Ladder Showcase.
You can see it in Card Ladder Showcase, and we already have it in our slab guard to protect it.
All right. Shout out Slab Strong. And
I love when you go to make a big deal and you have like total tunnel vision to like make the deal happen. That's all you're thinking about, and people around you are like trying to talk to you, and like you said, there's like a drunk people at a bar and stuff, and you're like, yeah, great, I'm trying to do the deal. Can you be quiet?
Indeed. This was all Christina. You know, the card showed up for sale on an Instagram story playing the long game 15, Tim, and I said, "What do you think?" And Christina was like, "I'm buying that."
I like that one because the main select is like the gold X fractor kind of, and this is like the first like pure gold. So I like that one a lot, and the design is very clean and simple.
Yeah.
I like that he's like it's an in-game shot versus like the Prism, which is photo shoot. So, like I'm also a fan because of that.
All right. Let's bring on our guest. We've got a great guest for the first 15 minutes or so of today's show. We're bringing him on. Fortunately, it's only 8 o'clock where he's at and where Josh is at. Josh is back in the West, in the Pacific Standard Time. What's up, Steve?
Hey, Steve.
What's up, gents? What's going on? Good
How are you
to
doing?
see y'all.
Steve, just by way of introduction, I think most people who are familiar with the PSA brand are familiar with Steve Sloan. But Steve, you've taken recently a new position at PSA within the Collectors Universe family. So what is your official title these days?
It's not Drake and it's not LeBron, so sorry to disappoint boys. But, yeah. I'm moving over to marketing. This is where I started with Collectors back in the day, back in 2012 after came over from Upper Deck. So happy to be back to my roots in a chief marketing officer role. So happy to be working with you guys as well. So it's fun. It's actually doing the fun part of the work at Collectors and PSA versus some of the more challenging roles that you get thrusted into like I've had in the past. So I'm actually a lot less stressed nowadays. I'll just put it that way. So
Yeah, that's good to hear. And before we get to more substantive questions, kind of about PSA and the state of grading, let me ask just briefly about the new podcast that you and Ryan are doing. And could you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, we're having a little fun with it. We figured it was a good idea to start sharing some direct updates from the company. So you can find it on all the major podcast platforms, Apple, Google, Stitcher. It's really just kind of a loose format. We go through business updates, making sure people are updated on the backlog, on any new policy changes, but also talk hobby, what's trending, bring in special guests. We've had President Kevin Linnane on, we've had Nat Turner on, we've had Bobby Witt Jr. on. So we're planning to have more kind of athletes who collect in the future to come on. Maybe we can land LeBron before you guys do, but we'll see. We'll make it a competition. So.
I like a challenge, Steve. I like a challenge.
Yeah.
Anything does feel possible right now in the hobby. Do you have any thoughts, Steve, on this Drake phenomenon that's just emerging, unfolding before our eyes?
It was nuts. I just saw like a bunch of alerts on my phone going off, so I clicked in, and I didn't actually ever see Drake, so I was distracted with kids or something. So I was like, all right, I'll catch the news tomorrow as to like what he actually got. I saw the one-on-one jaw the next day, but that's pretty cool. I like it. Like that's the type of stuff we need as a hobby. Just getting kind of the bigger fish into it. Bigger reach, What do you guys think?
Oh, we'll have lots of opinions on it a little bit later.
Yeah, we've been saving them throughout the day. Yeah,
definitely. Okay, Josh, go ahead, bud. I've got a few questions. Josh has got a few just for the audience, for PSA and questions kind of about how the submission events stuff's working. So go ahead, Josh.
Yeah, I'll start with like the scale of the grading. What sort of numbers you're seeing in terms of how many cards we're grading per day, per week, per month, and any update you have on that.
Yeah, we're up to about 40,000 on average per day right now, and it's been growing steadily. And when we started 2021, we were at about 18,000 a day. So you can see that we more than doubled over the course of the year, getting into 2022. But that's as a result of a huge investment back in the company by the new ownership group. They've given us the space, the resources in terms of training and talent acquisition to make those investments back in and hire and train additional graders, because that's traditionally the bottleneck. I think obviously everyone understands that as a really challenging role to find. So our goals are to get up to 75,000 by the end of the year. We'll see if we can get there, obviously without sacrificing quality, which is paramount. And so we'll it's a goal. You don't always have to hit your goals as a business, but you try to get close. So with the new offices in New Jersey that'll come online next year, we're also looking at some offices overseas. It feels like it's attainable. I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought up the quality thing, because when we were there and we saw the offices and we saw how the process works, I always felt that there was no sacrifice in quality. Just like there was obviously like a lot of pressure to grade all the cards, get through the backlog, but I never sensed any pressure to forego the quality. So that's good to hear, obviously.
No, I mean, the grading room wouldn't allow it, right? Like these guys take a lot of pride in their work, guys and gals, I should say. They take a lot of pride in their work, and if anyone's telling everyone else to slow down, it's a grading team. Like they're the ones who are absolutely in control of the quality as it results to the output. Obviously, there's other departments as well, but they really have a strong command of the operation in that respect, which is what you want, right? I mean, that's I think the way it should be.
Yeah. So speaking of grading, I mean, I think a large portion of those 40,000 cards per day is probably backlog, but there's some new cards being graded too. So how does that kind of break down right now? How much is backlog? How close is the backlog to being satisfied? What can you say about that, Steve?
Yeah, the backlog, we're seeing the light at the end of the tunnel, and we have of the 40,000, we're trying to dedicate at least 80% to the backlog to make sure that we keep that as a primary objective. So I think people who are submitting intercommute, for example, are noticing it's getting through really quickly because we've limited the overall capacity on those orders, and we actually have excess capacity. And when we have that excess, it goes back to the backlog orders. It's probably, in terms of getting it exhausted completely, the forecast right now is late August, early September for it to be completely gone. Now, of course, that doesn't mean it needs to go to zero before we can bring back lower pricing, which is another objective. So when we get to the point where we feel that we can hit a turnaround time within 90 days of low pricing, that's when we'll bring back on value services, for example, which are traditionally our lowest prices.
How low? How low are we talking?
I would expect it to be somewhere in the $25 range this year, which is, I think, a pretty reasonable amount given the demand in the marketplace. That's the other thing. Even though the backlog may be gone, we still have limited capacity, right? And the market's just blown up so huge that we still can't handle every single card that needs to be graded. Now, one beautiful thing about this new submission event process that we're going through is it allows us to create events around specific card types. And as the tech and product teams really dial it in, we might be able to offer in spots even lower than that price for, say, set collectors who have vintage cards that really don't make sense being graded at even at $25 and need instead it to be closer to, say, 10 or 15. We could offer really targeted specials for people who are members of the registry, for example, and go that route in a limited way, of course, because of the overall capacity constraints. But still, I like the options available to the business at this point, given the new investments in tech.
Yeah, it's very exciting. We got a few questions this week about set collecting, and it's just a funny coincidence that you would happen to bring it up here as well, because I think I personally am excited to hear that there might be special opportunities to get sets graded that can tie in with the submission events. And speaking of the submission events, what is the elevator pitch of the submission event? For the collector who's getting ready to start grading cards or coming back to grading cards again, and how do I qualify to a submission event? What's Collectors Club? What's kind of the elevator pitch on that, Steve? Yeah,
the Collectors Club is the lever that we kind of need to have people pull in order to come in and access these events. So to become a member, it's a $99 annual fee. You can join at psacard.com/join. And, the reason we have to do this is just because there's more demand than there is supply. So we see with each event, unfortunately, that, we might have 2 times to 3 times the amount of people in the waiting room in the event than are actually going to receive an allocation. But when you become a member, you become eligible to enter what is essentially a lottery. And you enter into the waiting room, which is the lottery kind of lobby, so for lack of a better term, and you wait for the event to open, and then you're provided a number in line. And the lower the number, generally, the higher the odds that you have to get into that submission event's allocation pool. And So each allocation event is going to be about 20 cards, I should say exactly 20 cards for the foreseeable future. And we dialed into that number after some trial and error and trying some different levels. So if you have some cards that you think are worth getting graded at $50, which is the price, this is the best way to do it. Obviously, the PSA brand is strong in the marketplace, and a lot of people prefer buying PSA graded cards at the right price for the right type of card. It makes a lot of sense to come in and try out the economy level. And as I mentioned before, they're flying through the building. They're super fast right now.
How's the feedback been on the submission events from customers?
You know, it depends. If you win an allocation, it's usually pretty positive. If you don't, it's negative, right? So, and we're hearing that. We see the mentions on Twitter and Instagram, understanding that, you know, by design, it's going to lock some people out, right? It's designed to throttle demand. So unfortunately, there's going to be disappointed customers through that process. What we need to get better at, and what we're working on as a product team, is finding ways to make sure that the distributions are equitable from event to event. So if, Josh, you want an allocation in the Tuesday event, you know, you have worse odds in the Thursday event, for example, to earn an allocation. So that's something we're working on behind the scenes to make sure that it's equitable for everyone who's trying to participate.
Yeah, that makes sense. Is this a long-term thing, do you think, or once the backlog is cleared, you start to introduce potentially the $25? Is this something that's going to phase out, or do you see this kind of propping up with, like you said, the set collector events, things like that?
They'll probably stay as long as we need to control demand based on our limited capacity. So our goal as a company is to move economy off of these events entirely and get to a point where we, you know, as the backlog diminishes, obviously we're going to have capacity freed up, and, you know, we can accept a heck of a lot more economy orders. So I think what might happen is that economy moves off of these submission events, but value gets added into them. So you could come in off the street and submit an economy at $50 at no added expense of becoming a member. But if you wanted to access the $25 price, then you would need to make sure that your membership's in place. So, but, you know, beyond that, say we get to a point where there's equilibrium and supply and demand are in balance, then yeah, we don't need these events at all.
Got it.
Yeah,
makes sense.
Steve, I had a situation come up.
Cheers, by the way, the green beer. I got the lightest beer I could find, so it got nice and green. So
nice. Sprite over here.
There you go. Sprite's the way to
go. Green.
Okay.
Green.
Yeah.
I actually had a situation come up that puzzled me. And so I wanted to run it by you, and why not do it in front of 100 or so people on Instagram Live and just see what we can figure out.
Steve, I didn't know about this.
No, this is my okay. So I had jury duty.
I may not have an answer. Like,
no, you do. Okay,
I'm in marketing now. I'm not on the business side, so I'm going to preface it with that. So
thank you, Christina. Okay, so I had jury duty about a week and a half ago, and I ran into an old friend of mine at this at jury duty, and thankfully I was not called to serve, and I got to go home. But afterwards I started talking to my friend, and his grandfather tragically had recently passed away, but he inherited from his grandfather a collection of vintage baseball cards that he had started looking up on eBay and were quite valuable, but they were all raw. And his grandpa really treasured these cards. He kept them in a safe. He said, like, never get rid of these, like, always keep these type of thing. Or, you know, if you do want to sell them, you have to grade them. And so when he found out that now, you know, I work in the industry, he was like, well, this is perfect. You know, how do I go about grading a few hundred of these that I figured out are valuable? And I was like, well, you have to be a Collectors Club member, and then you can sign up for submission events. And I was like, you know, actually maybe grading's a little busy right now, but that's not the right answer either. So I didn't quite know what answer to give him. What is the answer that, Steve, that you would give to a person in that position who's not familiar with the hobby but does know that PSA is the leading brand? He knew about PSA. He knew about the company. He knows it's the leading grading company. How does he go about getting those cards graded and feeling confident and secure in the process? And, you know, what would you tell him to do?
Yeah, I think the confidence part has to come first, right? There's so many free resources available to collectors today online, either through the written word, video, images, or even community-based kind of forum platforms. But the first thing to do, if you're not familiar specifically with grading, is to understand the grading standards, because you don't want to get blindsided by a 1 because there's a pinhole in the card and you didn't understand that meant an automatic 1 in the grading standards, or that there was a surface wrinkle in the back that dropped it down to a 4 that you didn't see. So you really need to, even if you think you have like just pristine, wonderful vintage cards, because there's such a wide spectrum of issues that can happen with vintage cards, you really want to educate yourself with a lot of the free resources. So the first place I would go is psacard.com/grades, which has a visual guide and a written guide that walks through the 10 through 1 and all the steps in between in terms of what you're looking at. They're going to talk to you about the centering, which a lot of people overlook if they're new to the hobby. They don't really, it's hidden in plain sight for a lot of people. They just don't see it until they're educated about it. After you review the grading standards, then you kind of have an idea of what to expect on value, right? So because the grade is going to, the value is going to follow the grade, you should then go to Card Ladder, right? You should go to Card Ladder and check out what the expected value is for the for the price or for the grade. I would say, right. Honestly, because if you're going to submit the card, the way the submission process works, you have to have a declared value in mind. So you have to know approximately what your card is worth before you submit it at a service level, and more importantly, you have to make sure it's worth grading. Even if you think it's a fantastic card, it might be either not grayed out, or it just may not be worth as much as you expect. So do the research, make sure you know the grading standards, make sure you know the value of the card, and from that point, you start looking more seriously at submissions. So that's probably a whole nother question, and it's probably the root of your real question there, Chris. But like, in terms of how to submit to PSA, best options are psacard.com/dealer if you want to talk to someone first before coming to PSA. Otherwise, you can go to the psacard.com homepage and click into our services and make an account and go through the online submission center process. For new people, I recommend giving a call to customer service. Unlike the past, you can actually get through to customer service now, and you can talk to people, and they can walk you through some of the process. The phone number is 1-800-325 1121. I might have screwed that up. Don't call the phone number without double checking on the website. But I used to know it.
Yeah, 325-1121.
Yeah. Okay, I nailed it. Boom. So yeah, know what you have, and if you got stuff that's worth grading. I mentioned the $50 price. Like on the vintage catalog, some of the commons, if they don't grade out, they're not going to be worth submitting at $50. So just be sure you have a really solid grasp on the quality of the cards you got.
That's terrific. I think there's a lot of people, in addition to myself, who have people in their lives who are coming back to cards for the first time or recently have, and grading is such an important part of, formalizing their childhood collection or a collection they inherited, especially if it's a super valuable one. And there's just so many resources you rattled off there that I think, I'm locked and loaded and ready to go the next time I get that question. So that's extremely helpful, Steve.
It's nice to get those questions in public. Like, it's becoming more and more into consciousness of the public, in a sense that, like, I'm almost more at ease now. I used to go to barbecues and tell people what I did, and I get a lot of strange looks. But now it's like much more, commonplace. Like, oh yeah, I saw you guys on, insert TV show or whatever. So that's I'm glad to have those conversations for sure.
Yeah, well, I guess now if there was a barbecue this weekend, the question would be, is that what Drake just spends $250,000 on last night? Is that what that is? Yeah. All right. Steve, we've kept you for 20 minutes. There's a question in the chat that was a neat one. Sports Cards and More says, do you collect, Steve? And if so, what do you collect?
Yeah, I definitely collect. I'm a really big football fan. I'm a Raiders fan, so I was actually pulled this card out today. It's Devontae Adams with Derek Carr.
Oh, nice.
So I'm really stoked on this one for today, at least. But I collect vintage baseball, vintage non-sports. I got a 1940 Superman set, which I really like. It's hard not to just get totally enamored with all the stuff that comes through the building and kind of be just chasing things left and right because you see so many cool things that come through the building. So definitely more focused on football and baseball. I need to step on my basketball game. Listen to you guys more. I need to step up on that side of it. So I think I'm priced out by now, though.
Yeah, well,
We all are.
Yeah.
congrats on Devontae Adams. That's a big pickup for the Raiders. He's obviously like top 2 or 3 receiver in the league.
Oh, dude. Yeah, I'm texting with my Packer fans and their friends who are Packer fans, and they're like convincing themselves that he's washed, but no.
Yeah. I don't know about that.
Yeah, no, I'm super excited, not only for the Raiders, but for Carr, because he needs a weapon, so it's good to see.
Oh,
Yep.
he's got one now. He
Yeah.
definitely has one now. We'll see if
course.
Rodgers can run that MVP thing back without his number one weapon.
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah. I know. Like, what my first thought as a scarred Raider fan is like, how is this going to go wrong? So like, injuries or something bad
Right.
in the Vegas lifestyle. So anyway.
Well, it can't be nearly as bad as in the Antonio Brown situation, so it's only up from here.
You're right. Good call. No, we've hit rock bottom numerous times. So we know what it feels like. So yeah.
Steve, thank you for joining us. Thank you for your time tonight. We'll let you get back to your family and celebrating St. Patrick's Day.
No, I don't want to get back to them. No, I really don't. Just playing. It's bedtime, so I don't want to mess with any of that. This is an excuse to get away from it. No, I'm kidding. Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Appreciate you having me. Have a great night.
Thanks, Steve.
See you guys.
Bye, Steve.
Yeah.
Bye.
There you go. So one of the perks of Card Ladder and Collectors Universe teaming up is that you get the head of marketing from PSA coming on the show. Pretty.
One thing that I would love, PSA, I think they're kind of working on this, but it was like an additive answer to your question. The part that's the hardest when you're new is like inputting the cards in the submission, like typing it out properly. You kind of have to have a little bit of knowledge about like the fact that the year comes first, the set, the number of the card. The search is really strong and it has like a good match on the card. But it would be neat if in the future there was a way to just like send your cards in without saying what they were. Like PSA tells you what they are, and then they come back slabbed properly. That would be neat.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. No.
No, thank you. I'm too much of a organization neat freak. I need to have my own list of what I sent, and I want it to be written
Well, he didn't say you can't do it anymore.
I guess, yeah.
He just
just for like the situation of your friend.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Okay, well, cool. All right, let's go. We had an amazing amount of questions, and there's no way we're going to get through all these, but we'll give it our best shot. So obviously the topic of the day is Drake, and Josh, do you want to recap the Drake situation?
Sure. Is there a weird echo noise or something when I talk?
Not on my end. Is there one on yours?
Yeah, every time I talk, there's a weird noise. The Drake situation. It kind of came out of nowhere. All of a sudden, LaFlav Eddie was doing breaks on Instagram, and it was, became apparent that he was doing breaks for Drake. Oh no, it was the post. We saw the story post from Card with Drake himself posting that he was going to be opening Flawless. And it was a little bit vague, but we just knew he was going to be opening Flawless. Then we found out it was Eddie opening on his channel, so that kind of went off last night. And Drake was in the chat. Gary Vee was in the chat, a bunch of celebrities, Ben Baller. People were having fun with it. There was about 1,500 people, and I feel like the entire hobby was in that live last night. And there's just a lot of buzz and excitement over, Drake being involved. And the results weren't great. Wasn't many big hits. Then they started opening Prism. It kind of got a little bit insane. The chat was going crazy, so that was that. And then tonight it happened again. Eddie opened up more Flawless for Drake, and he was involved in the chat a little bit again. And there was rumors that he was with another celebrity watching the breaks as well. So yeah, that's it.
Yeah, all right. So with a little background in hand, let's get to some questions about Drake. Actually, Chasing Cardboard has the first comment or topic suggestion, and he said, anything but Drake. Could we talk about anything but Drake? No, sorry.
We will.
We will have other things to talk about, though. Big John Collector's Cards says, what will be the Drake effect on cards?
I honestly don't think there'll be any effect. Maybe short term, but definitely not long term. It's just like, I feel like the celebrities when they come in, it's usually pretty short lived. I'll believe it when I see it that he's, involved in the hobby every single day. I just wouldn't bank on like, hey, now that Drake was in cards that one day, we're all rich. I don't think it works like that.
Everything 323 says, is the LeBron triple logo man worth the hype for the hobby?
I actually do think that card is worth this hype. If I'm thinking about like really special one-of-a-kind cards that Panini's created, a lot of times you kind of know what you're getting. Like we know there's going to be RPAs and logo mans and certain ones, but this one has a little bit of a unique thing where it's where they sort of like have created this new card that has never existed before, and it's a triple logo man with LeBron in each of his 3 teams' jerseys on the card. So I think it's like a unique way that Panini's introduced something new to the hobby that we've never seen before of LeBron. And so I think it is worth the hype. I don't know, like what, people are like, oh, it's going to be $5-10 million. I don't really like to get into that sort of match of just sort of guessing these millions of dollar prices. We'd have to see, obviously, what it's sold for at auction. But I think the excitement of trying to pull something that hasn't been pulled yet is always worth the hype in the hobby because it generates it generates something fun. The day that the Luka Black gets pulled, it's going to be less fun to talk about that year of Prism. It just will be because it's already over. But the sort of like mystery and buildup of it is very exciting.
Yeah, well said. All right, Card Collecting 82 says, was Drake possibly a manufactured viral moment organized by Josh Luber and co? Not hating, just asking. What do you think?
Why don't you
manufactured?
No. Why don't you give us your sort of overall take on the Drake thing and then answer that question? I want to hear what you have to say.
Oh man, I have a lot of takes on the Drake thing. Honestly, I use Clubhouse to workshop my takes, and then I bring them over here.
I love that. I get your like very organized, curated response. This is good.
All right. Well, look, some of these questions kind of get to this already, but first of all, I think we all need to just chill out. Okay? You guys gave Lameme enough content for a month with all the starstruck simping that was going on. So we just need to dial that back a bit. And look, I was workshopping this take the other night on Clubhouse, and somebody came back at me, and he was what I was trying to say was like Drake went from like level 1 to the final stage boss in one night, and it's like it shouldn't go that fast. Like there should be some. You have to go to level 2 and then level 3, level 4. You should work your way up. And but on Clubhouse, somebody pushed back and said, well, if it's Drake, he gets to go straight to the final stage boss. He comes in the VIP room in the club, and and that's like the thing. I get where people are saying that. They're like, capitalize on this moment and make this thing go as big as it possibly can. But my take on it was more so like, or let's just chill. This is just a guy breaking product. Let's not be too excited and make ourselves look too desperate. And let's not get too overwhelmed. This audience knows my stand on celebrities anyway. I'm not particularly impressed, right? So, to me, Drake's a guy who is trying out his hand at cards, or maybe he's been in cards for a while and just quietly, I don't know. He obviously is worthy of the fanfare, but I think as a hobby, we would look much better if we just, if we just kind of let it happen a little more organically. If I didn't wake up to see 1,000 posts about it. Do you want to riff on that for a second?
Yeah, I mean, you're kind of getting to the heart of my reaction as well, which is like, let's be cool. First of all, like, really fawning all over them and like begging them for stuff and asking them onto our lives every 2 seconds. Like, we got to chill a little bit and kind of make him want it a little bit more. I know that's hard because it's Drake and he's really famous. He's got 100 million followers. But I think, if we, like you said, chill, step back, and kind of show our true selves of like the collecting side of it, the hobby, the community, I think it could be pretty appealing to a lot of people. And look, if we just like get people coming in and like you said, going straight to the final stage boss and burning out immediately, that's definitely not going to be good for the long term. So like we have to try to attempt to show the serious side of collecting and the fun that can be had by buying singles or getting involved in the community and being in it long term. That's going to be way more beneficial for us than him just sort of like driving in, spending 300 grand on a bunch of wax, getting destroyed because he's not pulling the card he wants, and then leaving. That's definitely not a good.
Yeah. We have some questions too that go a little more into this, but I think we share that concern. Others share that concern as well. Card Collecting 82, his question was about, was this a manufactured viral moment?
Mm.
And I want to say a couple things to that. Number one, Drake, how much money would you have to pay Drake to manufacture a viral moment?
Oh my God, so much.
So much. Drake doesn't... Dude, when I was Googling Drake to see what news was popping up about this sports card thing that he's doing, and there was news. The first report that I saw was that Drake just bought a $75 million house in California. How much... What are you going to do to compete with that? You're going to give this guy $5 million to manufacture a viral moment? I don't think that's right. I think Drake has to have an organic interest in our hobby, and then everything's going to flow from there. So that's my take. What do you think? Was there a chance that this is a manufactured viral moment and Drake's involved?
No. I'll tell you what happened. Drake likes sports. We all know that. He's really involved with the Raptors. He has courtside seats. He loves basketball. He loves he's friends with the players. He's very integral to sort of the community around the NBA. He's very, front and center. The NBA uses him in their marketing. He's obviously very involved. And he's also a gambler. I think it's been pointed out by several that he's involved in a lot. He loves gambling on sports and he loves gambling at, Vegas. So this is kind of like we've been saying, like this is what's been something that appeals to a lot of people, is that you can basically gamble on sports cards and you can gamble on prospecting on players and proving that you're right about certain young players and veterans. And, he's probably appealed by that. He's been introduced to it, I'm sure, numerous times by different people within the hobby. And I'm sure all of them should be credited with being the first to bring him into the hobby. And, he's getting his gambling itch with the wax, and I don't know. Well, I guess we'll see where it goes. I would love to see him just like buy up a ton of like cards of a young player. That would get me more excited. If he showed a picture of his table at his house with like 1 million, Scotty Barnes cards or something, right? Like the Raptors. So that to me would be a little bit more interesting. But no, I definitely don't think it was manufactured. He doesn't seem like the type. Like you said, what are they gonna do? Pay him to go on a live and like comment in the chat? That doesn't make any sense.
No, the juice wouldn't be worth the squeeze. Now, when you said a table full of Scotty Barnes cards, the first thing I thought about was, remember when Giannis? Not that long ago, right?
Yeah, that's more interesting to me.
Talk about it. Why is that more interesting?
Because it's like, you're connecting to a specific player. You're betting on a specific thing happening with a player, and you're connecting more to like the collecting side, where you're actually doing like a PC of a player because you believe in them, or you enjoy the variety of cards that you've selected, and you selected those cards. So we get an understanding like what sort of taste he might have in selecting different cards. The breaking is more just like gambling to me. Like he's obviously looking for that triple logo man LeBron, which is fun, and that's the kind of the fun part about it to me, is that he's chasing that one specific card. But he has to know that like the odds of actually him getting it aren't great. So he's more just like enjoying the ride of the break and the thrill of the chase, I guess.
Is there anything comparable to this in gambling? And maybe the chat knows, maybe you know. Is there anything comparable to a live broadcast and you are the center of the action, and everybody else is watching almost voyeuristically, watching your product get opened, and sort of some are rooting for you, some are rooting against you. You know, some people want to see you get hosed, some people want to see you, you know, hit that logo man. Is there anything like that, or is there maybe something special about the rush of either being in a group break, you know, because then you have it but on a smaller scale and you're with a group of people, you know, you're with 25 or 30 other people maybe, or, you know, a personal break, which is what Drake has been doing. It's a personal break. There's 1,500 people in this chat. They're all watching the product get opened for you, and they're all either laughing and commiserating with you if you get skunked, or they're very happy for you if something good comes up.
Craps, that's kind of how Craps works, if you've ever played that. He also mentioned, I think he even said in the comments at one point, like, y'all should just be playing roulette. You have better luck playing roulette than this, like, because he was, you know, not doing super well. So maybe roulette, you know, the excitement of people surrounding you and watching it. But this is like you're kind of hitting on something. This is like at scale a little bit, where people, like, he's the center of attention, and he's gambling at the same time. I don't know enough about like FanDuel and DraftKings to know like if people know of his account or something where they can like watch him. It doesn't seem like it's as engaging as the breaking stuff would be.
No, you want to talk about a sweat? You know, here's a sweat. Buy a box for 15 grand and then have it opened in front of thousands of people, and you're just you can do nothing but just sit there and watch, and everybody knows you're either about to get hosed or you're about to win. I think there's nobody's really explored the psychology of the customer of the break, but I think there's something to it. All right, Lamine James says, my thirst for Drake by tagging and spamming comments in the live. Would you call this simping or genius marketing?
Definitely simping, man. It's so cringe.
I do want to hammer that point home once more. It's like, you know, the sun will come up tomorrow. You know, everybody is shooting their shot, but it's a long shot. It's a long, long, long shot. And, man, just, you know, people reappearing after months, years of not caring about the hobby. And all of a sudden they're kings of the castle again because we've got a famous guy involved. So what are we here for? You know, that's why I think sometimes these discussions need a recalibration. Why are we even here in the first place? We're here for the cards. We collect cards. We like the culture of cards. We like the market for cards. You know, we like the nostalgia of cards. That's what we're here for. Everything else is surplus. And as long as we, you know, keep that front and center, we'll always keep our simping in check. How about that?
Now, if LeBron gets involved, all bets are off. I'm a simp. Sign me up for this weird club that you guys are in where you're – I mean, think about this scenario, though. Play this out. Your name is Breakers6969. You post in the comments, Drake, look at me, please. DM me when this is over and we'll be best friends. In what world is Drake like, oh, that's the guy I've been looking for in the comments right there. Let me DM this guy. Send him $1 million cash. Send him out on a private jet to hang out with me for a month, and we're just going to be best friends. That's not going to happen, everyone. I'm just telling you right now, give up on that dream. I've tried it with LeBron. It does not work.
All right. You tried that with LeBron, huh?
No, of course not. Hey, LeBron, I hope you respond to this DM. Are you kidding? The dude gets like 1 billion DMs every minute. There's no way.
All right. Flippity Flip Card says, is Drake a secret member of the team running the card porn account? It's curious that he decided to tag them of all accounts in his story. Well, maybe we'll find out tomorrow night, because Drake, Card Porn, and Polax will be doing a break tomorrow night. This coming on the heels of Drake, first appearing breaking with LaFave and Eddie, who's a great guy and a great hobbyist. And also a noted NFT, what's the word I'm looking for? Critic. A noted NFT critic. A kindred spirit with us.
Wait, so is card porn going live with Drake and?
I don't know. Look at the post. Card porn made a post with Polwax.
I
Said
don't follow them.
we're going live. So we'll see. Like maybe we'll get some answers to that question tomorrow night.
Is there anyone that he's not breaking with? Like I feel like you and I should be offended that Drake hasn't come on crossover because he's breaking with everybody else.
He's not following you.
All right, Christina, DM Drake.
Okay, I'm on it, guys.
All right, Cards and Candy 911 says, well, first of all, will Drake actually pull the LeBron logo ban? He's been through 15 boxes or so, maybe?
No, he will not.
Why? How
wish
can you
that,
say
like-
that with so much confidence? Is it just, is the math, you know, are we just doing the
Yeah,
math here?
dude, I'm the guy at Vegas. Everyone in Vegas is having a great time. Everyone's drinking. I'm the guy that's like, you know, that mathematically, like, you're gonna lose, right? I'm like whispering in their ear, like, don't do that. That's like a 1 in 12. You're gonna lose. You know, like the math doesn't add up. Everyone here, go home. You're losing money. The reason this place exists is because of math, and you're gonna lose. You know, it's like, no, the math does not work out.
Fair enough. And Cards and Candy 911 continues. And what are the benefits of Drake pulling it versus not pulling it and losing a ton of money breaking wax?
You know what I was thinking? If you want to put your tinfoil hat on, I didn't like the conspiracy theory, or this is the conspiracy theory. The employees at Panini go, hey, Drake is looking for this card. We still have it here in the warehouse. We haven't put it in a box yet. Wouldn't it be really great for the industry and for us as a business if he were to be the one to pull that card? Let's make sure that the next time he breaks, let's slide that box on over to that person, open this bitch up on a live, boom.
Speaking of that, could you imagine what people would say to that point if he did pull the LeBron logo?
People be like, oh, it's been that. Okay, that's the one where I'm like, was it fixed? Because, like,
you better not pull that, Drake.
But no, to answer the question in the spirit of the question, I think that would be pretty cool. That would be cool. I can't lie. That would be really exciting for everybody.
Yeah, that would be amazing. That would be amazing. And the rich would get richer.
No, that's why when I played that scenario out, the tinfoil hat, I'm like, please do not do that, Panini. Like, we don't need him to pull that card financially. Like, give it to someone, you know, some kid or some family down on their luck or something. Please do not give the card to Drake.
Well, you know, so Panini isn't simping. Is that fair to say? So the hobby might be simping, but Panini's like, here, trash case after trash case, Drake. You gotta pay the same dues as the rest of us.
In fact, they might be doing the opposite of what I said. They're like, keep that card away from him so that he keeps going. Don't ever put it in circulation so he keeps buying more freaking wax.
All right. GB Sports Card says, does watching Drake and Shine opening 150,000 worth of Flawless, I think it was more actually, does that actually bring in more new people into the hobby? Or is this doing the opposite by showing new entrants the expensive side of the hobby that most cannot afford to get into?
Probably a little bit of both, you know. I think it can definitely, like, showing people the high-end side of things can lead them down a path of, like, you know, what else is out there? What else could I actually afford? This is kind of like the, you know, high-stakes table of the World Series of poker. Is there a cheaper table of poker that I could jump in and kind of enjoy myself? So I think there's a path where that exists. But yeah, definitely not realistic for most people. You know, maybe the Prism breaks. Those were expensive too, though, last night, right? The Prism boxes were still pretty expensive, you said?
Yeah, $6,500 per box, I think, was the.
Oh, yeah. I don't know. Watch a hoops break? I'm not sure.
Okay. All right. And finally, JGB Collectibles says, which celebrity or athlete would you like to see get on a live and rip some wax? I think we know your answer. Yep. There he is. There he is.
Because we already know he, you know, somewhat is involved in the hobby. You know, he's got a couple cards, allegedly. So that's not too much of a stretch.
No, it isn't. All right. I think we've taken our best swing at the Drake Breaks Flawless Pinata. Let's move on.
So tell everyone one more time, to chill. Is that the Aaron Rodgers? Was that his thing? Everyone calm down or whatever?
RELAX. Relax. Everybody just relax.
There you go.
Where's Aaron Rodgers when you need him? But why aren't people getting so excited? Is it because we're all just a bunch of nerds thinking about our card collection value going up? Is that pretty much it? That's a little cynical, right?
Probably, but also people just gravitate towards celebrities no matter what medium it is,
Yeah, and I guess the glass half full perspective is we're gonna get to share our little niche subculture. A light is being shined on it, and there's something inherently exciting about connecting with other people in that fashion.
More exposure.
Definitely. All right. Little bit of NCAA talk. Slabstrong says, can you talk about Providence's win in the NCAA tourney today? Congrats, Tim, on Providence winning. And Mad City Collector says, do you have a favorite college team that you follow?
I really like Gonzaga. I'm rooting for Gonzaga this year. I always like their teams. And Drew Timme is awesome. He's the only guy I know in the whole tournament. Actually, I do know Chet Holmgren. I know 2 players in the tournament. So I'm rooting for the Zags. That's all I have, dude. You do not want me breaking down college basketball.
Same here. Can't believe people actually watch that version of the basketball product, but so they do. And I have Gonzaga winning my bracket. Did you fill out a bracket?
Nope, I never do brackets. I don't like to. It's just again the math. You just can't win those stupid things. And I don't want to do something I can't win.
Makes sense. All right. Grant's Card Room. All right, now a little NBA talk. What NBA? You and me were talking about this earlier this week. What NBA playoff matchups are you most excited to see?
Nuggets Warriors.
If that matchup happens, right? I mean, look, if the Warriors are now without Curry at least until the first week of the playoffs.
Yep.
So if the Warriors go 5-7, then the Mavericks or the Jazz can overtake them by going, I think 9-4 or 10-3, which would be tough, but it's certainly doable. So they're not. I don't even know if the Warriors necessarily are locked into playing the Nuggets in the 6th seed, but if that happens, that's the one you're most looking forward to. Assuming full health for Steph Curry, or do you not care?
No, I was assuming him coming back for the first round. I'd rather him be there so that there's no excuse for when the Nuggets beat them.
Okay, and I'll go to the Eastern Conference and I'll say whoever plays Brooklyn, whichever team is unfortunate enough to draw Brooklyn as the 7th seed or whatever they're gonna be.
Oh no, dude! The universe needs the Nets to play the Sixers in the first round. We need that. We deserve it. Give it to us. That'd be so amazing. I'd be glued to my TV every game.
Poor Ben Simmons. Man, that would be. You would have to wonder what that guy did to get that karma if that happened.
Oh, I don't know. Not play basketball? He probably
sit out a whole year.
Yeah. Team Simmons.
Yeah.
Christina's on Team Simmons. Christina has sympathized with Ben Simmons ever since we looked at a video of him getting on a bus when Brooklyn was playing in Philadelphia a few days ago, and he was just being absolutely barraged, assaulted with by those damn 76ers fans. All right.
People that once supported him, so I feel a kinship to Ben Simmons now.
Sweat 47 says, "Who is your MVP favorite?"
MVP favorite is Jokic, I guess. His stats are just too gaudy.
Yeah, the sportsbooks had Embiid in first all year long, and now last I looked, they were even. Embiid and Jokic were even, and I'm seeing MVP ladders coming out from mainstream publications that have Jokic in first, especially because Giannis has taken the second highest PER, Jokic has the first, Embiid has the third now. plus with Harden joining, and the momentum is gone. The Embiid momentum, that's what happens when you got James Harden, and now the media doesn't like you anymore because the media does not like James Harden.
Well, now my favorite guy, Nick Wright, is going to become your favorite guy here soon. He had Jokic at like 6, which is insane, but he had Luka number 1.
He does, like, Nick Wright did a lot of things. Nick Wright was taking a lot of shots at me. You know, he downplays MJ all the time. And then, you know, he was hating on Jokic. And he said, yeah, he's taking shots. And then he said, last year he said Jokic is like the worst MVP of all time or something, or in the last 35 years. So I've been personally affronted by him for a few years. But he's making a play for my heart. He's putting Luke on the top of his MVP ladder, which is not appropriate, but it's just all right. You know, you're.
And you know who he didn't have? Wait, he had Morant at 5, so he fucked that up.
Yeah, he had Morant above
Jokic.
And I was like,
he did.
Just full.
He has to course correct on the Jokic take. It's just
he had you. He's like, Luka, great start, and then he's like 5 more names before Jokic, and you're like, what the fuck, dude?
All right. Juan Guiro says, how about the AFC West? How about the AFC West?
Dude, that's fucking crazy. Like all the big names are going to the AFC West. I'm like, it's like those teams have to do it to compete, you know, with the teams around them, but it just makes it look more and more ridiculous because Devontae Adams went to the Raiders, Russell Wilson's to the Broncos, the Chargers signed. Who did the Chargers get? Someone big.
Khalil Mack.
That's right. Khalil Mack
from my team.
Well, I'm calling it right now. Can you write this on a board or somewhere or something? Like we should start doing the TNT bets. You know how they write them down on stickies?
Christina's. We have a giant whiteboard right here. I can't show you it because
I'm calling it right now.
All right, we're writing it down.
This is I guarantee it.
All right.
The Bills are winning the Super Bowl next year.
Damn, you're going.
All they needed last year was a freaking pass rusher. I watched their games. All they needed was that elite pass rusher. They have like really good depth on the defensive line, but they didn't have the guy who could just get you the sack. And now they got Von Miller.
Okay. All right. Josh has guaranteed it. Bills win. Well, then I really need McCaffrey to get traded there now. All right.
Dude, and they tried to sign J.D. McKissick, but he bailed on them.
Yeah, I know.
But they basically got everybody back. Their whole team's intact.
Yeah, I know. That J.D. McKissick thing just like killed my McCaffrey to Buffalo dreams. But then they undid it, and I was very happy.
I just wrote it down, Josh.
If that happens, Chris, if McCaffrey goes to the Bills, we're just going to be wearing Bills attire like all next year.
We're going to move to Buffalo and shop exclusively at Dave & Adams.
Oh.
All right. Frank32. Please discuss Tom Brady's last touchdown ball, selling for over $500,000 just hours before coming out of retirement.
Has anyone talked about the fact that they might have like not gone through with the purchase? Like no one's talked about that possibility. We can't just assume that this guy got totally screwed.
Yeah. Well, the thing to me that was crazy is like assuming that he did pay immediately, and usually that's not how it works. You have to get an invoice first, and but not only did that guy just get absolutely cooked for $500,000, but then the whole internet is just making fun of him for like days in a row. It's just I couldn't imagine it being worse. Except they don't know his name at least. Like but that's almost worse. Like you're this anonymous guy that everybody's just completely dumping all over, and you lost half.
Well, I have a take. I actually feel more bad for the guy who's selling it because I actually think that this purchase is not going to go through. I think cooler heads are going to prevail, and Leland's and the seller are going to be like, okay, obviously, like this doesn't make any sense, and the seller is going to be like, the seller got this amazing ball, caught it in the stands, had this amazing story, told all of his friends. He's probably been bragging about it on end. I sold it for $500,000. Now he has to go back and say like, actually, now it's worth. It's a regular football now. It's like, now it's worth nothing. I'm a bum.
You held on to it for so long, Josh. You should have sold it right after the retirement announcement came out.
It was pretty short thereafter. I mean, because you have to send the item to auction, you have to wait a few weeks, and maybe he knew that too. Maybe that. I think it did actually get sold about as fast as it could get sold.
In the chat, LI Sports Card says, as of today, it's still his last touchdown. If Brady throws no touchdowns next year, guys, we still have the last touchdown ball here.
That's true. Is that Frank?
Yeah, that's Frank.
Yeah, he would say that.
That's right. It still is. Why is this ball worth $500,000 even if it is his last touchdown ball?
Yeah, they lost that game, right? I'm not.
They did lose that game. They sure did.
I never understood. Yeah, I never understood items correlating to a moment because, like, you come over to my house and I show you the football and they're like, "Oh, weird. Why do you have that football in that glass case?" Oh, that was, Brady's last whatever, and it's like, okay, it looks like a football to me,
Yeah, I guess upside he can take it outside and throw it around with the guys now.
I just don't like items, especially in cards. This isn't a problem for cards, but remember, we have to explain it to someone. Like, I don't want to have to explain it to you why something that is of high value to me. You should just see it and be like, oh shit, like I get why you have that thing. That's sick.
Yeah, I agree. All right, Trading Card Brothers says the NBA major records that were broken this year. Popovich with the most wins at head coach, Curry with the most three-pointers made, and LeBron with the most points ever scored combined playoffs and regular season. What do you think about all these records being broken?
I'm not that excited about it. They were all inevitable. All of them were going to be broken this year. It's just a matter of time. I mean, it's exciting, right? Having more news, I guess, something to talk about. We always joke that, like, these short-term news events, get people overly excited about their cards that they're going to the moon and stuff. And it's usually more of like a long-term lead up to that event, much prior to when it happens, to for when the value starts to rise usually. But I don't know. There's not much like Popovich cards out there, anyways.
No, but it is interesting that we all now have contemporary players and coaches at the top of some really important records in the record books, which is cool.
These are huge records.
Yeah, I know. It's about as big as it gets. Card Shop Dad said, can you and Josh each show off 2 low-end cards that you think are really cool? So I did get 2 low-end cards ready, and I'll start while Josh is finding his. Christina doesn't have a problem because her entire Maxi collection is low-end already. Do you want to show off some of your Maxis?
Don't be hateful. I do want to show off 2 Maxis.
All right, well, I'll go very quickly first here. This card is about $50 to $60 as a PSA 9. This is the 1992 Topps Gold Michael Jordan. There's a number of Jordan cards in this product. There's the base set, and then there's a number of subsets. This is the base set. Has a nice action shot of MJ going against the Blazers. Might have been from the finals even, I'm not sure. And I never really studied that closely. But this is the first Topps Gold. First Topps Gold Michael Jordan card. $50 to $60. I don't know. I probably bought this 4 or 5 years ago. I just like having it. And then the other one I'll do is a mail day from last week. Christina and I have some nostalgia for Donruss. It was the first product we opened when we came back to the hobby. This is also a PSA 9 Christian McCaffrey. Donruss, die cut, gold rookie, number to 25. Maybe a couple $100 for a card like that. So there's 2 low-end ones for me. Josh, do you have your... Josh looks like he's still looking. Christina, come to yours.
I'm plucking them out.
He's plucking.
Oh, that means they're coming out of the binder.
You get yours ready, Christina.
Well, I mean, the question was specifically to you and Josh. I think Card Shop Dad realizes
Well,
that.
no, but who's the you? It could have been you or me. So
It was written literally to you, though. Okay, so the first one I have, like Chris said, we're nostalgic for Donruss. So I have a Donruss Maxi Cleveland out of 10 from this year. And then this one I picked up, and it actually came today, I think. And that is a 1-of-1 Donruss Maxi Cleveland from this year, which it shines really nicely. I really like this one. And this one was a total of $68. So that's my low end for a 1 of 1.
And Josh, what are 2 low-end cards that you think are really cool?
2. I'm not gonna do 2. I'm doing like 7. So deal with it.
Let's go.
Nice.
Bring them on.
I was just thumbing through my binder. If these were Jordan cards, you'd be much more impressed. But I'm just sort of picking out random ones that I like. This is like my favorite 90s auto. Love the ticket ones. Dude, if these were Jordans, you guys would be much more impressed. But
I'm still
not,
impressed. Jeez.
rave review. This binder, I've got some cool stuff in here, man. This one's the Row Zero Legacy.
Damn.
They said low end, and Josh is pulling out season ticket autographs and legacy collection.
These are not that expensive. They're not. I think I paid $200 for this one. This is the first ever precious metal. There you go.
Yeah.
Oh, and I always talk about this card, so there it is. Cut above.
Oh, let's go. All raw.
Yeah, okay, these are the actual cheap ones. This one's like $1.
Nice. What do you like about that one? The die cut?
No, I just I had one of those like plaques when I was a kid, and this card was in that plaque, so I've always had a special place. And same with this. I had like one of those like card plaques.
Oh, I love that. The championship shots set. I think that's 95, 96 SP. Yeah, I love that set. There's a gold parallel to that set too. That's awesome. All right. Always fun. When Card Shop Dad said that, I was like, "What? Like, we show off multiple low-end mail days all the time. Like, most of my mail days that come in and I show on this show are low-end, but always happy to show some love to the low-end cards."
This is the only show, by the way, in cards that shows cards. Just say that.
Funny how that works.
You guys are getting a real treat that we actually show cards on the show. You're like, what are those shiny, like, what are you guys holding? What is this? What is happening?
Yeah. All right. Card Shop Dad.
You're laughing, but it's true.
It is true. I agree. What are we here for? We're here for the cards. God, especially in these moments where celebrity culture starts intersecting with sports card culture, it's more important than ever to resist the gross celebrity culture appeal and just double down on why we're even involved in the first place. Never lose sight of what brought us together in the first place, which is just a joy of collecting cards in some way, shape, or form.
It's also not entirely fair to make that comment. There's a lot of people that still do lives, still go on YouTube and talk about cards. That stuff just hasn't gotten the fanfare recently in the last couple of years. There just hasn't been as much spotlight on those content creators, and so if we can bridge that gap, that'll be fantastic.
Agreed. I ran a poll today that the poll was, do you look up checklists of the products that contain the cards that you buy? And I was really happy to see about 80 to 90% of people did. But I don't know, what are the other 10 to 20% doing? Like, you don't know what the other parallels are? Or, you don't know. How are you? What the fuck is going on? All right.
The other 10% are Drake.
All right. Card Shop. No, I bet Drake. He's got on one device, he has the brake pulled up, and on the other device, he has multiple tabs open. Cardboard Connection, Trading Card DB. He's looking at the checklist. He knows the exact odds of what he hit. When that Morant 1-of-1 Star Swatch came out, he knew just how difficult that was to pull. That's what
card ladder.
Of course, he's got 3 different card ladder accounts, so him and his boys can be quickly looking up card ladder accounts. All right, Card Shop Dad says, can you talk about in Cardboard Veritas's anti-consolidation discussion?
Yeah.
Did you see that? Did you see the anti-consolidation?
I did.
Okay. Maybe just recap those for a second.
I don't have them memorized or anything, but he was just saying there's been a lot of talk in the last year or so about how consolidation is the focus for a lot of people, and it's kind of gotten a lot of hype around it. And it's kind of proven to be correct, through the value of the high-end stuff, the people who did that were proven to be correct. But he was just kind of playing, the other side of it, which is some people just didn't want to do that because they enjoy collecting lots of stuff and they don't want to have to buy just 1 or 2 cards, or they don't want to have to consolidate, and they're still happy with that decision that they made, knowing what happened today. and they should be. They should, not regret anything like that. If collecting to you has been about the anti-consolidation, then that's great. And I've said it. I've obviously held the flag for consolidation as best I can because that's the way that I collect. But I've also said many times, every time I talk about it, I say this isn't for everybody. This is kind of my style, and I've always said it kind of matches my personality more so than it does my investment advice. It's just this is just how I like to do it. And I wasn't doing it to make more money. I was doing it because it matches my personality. So when people say they're happy they didn't do it, I'm just as excited for those people and, applaud them just as much as I would someone who said they consolidated.
Yep. And I'll just add my take on it. I thought it was a terrific series of posts. I think, as Josh said, there's just as much reason to, uplift collecting diffuse amounts of cards as there are to, just focus on just a handful of grails. And you don't have to, you can go from one to the other and then back again. You can try your hand at multiple options. But for me, the reason why I like consolidation is because I literally, when I started collecting, I didn't have the option to go buy a big grail. I would pick up a card worth a couple $100 once or twice a month. And then before, a year or two had gone by and I had a collection that was worth, maybe around 20 or 30 grand, in part because this was 16, 17, 18, and the market was going up. And so I had a collection that, had become worth something, a 5-figure range. And then I couldn't help but think to myself, well, I never had a pile of cash, but now I have this equity in my collection that if I wanted to go through the effort of selling these cards, I could cash them out, take the cash, and go buy one really big card that I otherwise wouldn't have ever been able to afford. And there's something extra intriguing to me about owning cards that I have no business owning, just because I was able to build up equity in my collection and then land the card.
Yeah, and the other thing that I thought we were talking was that collecting is it's the journey, right? It's not necessarily what cards are necessarily in your collection at that very moment. So the fact that you had all those less expensive cards and you own them at one point, and you also now can say you own this bigger card, I think it's more of a story that you could tell that you've kind of collected them all.
Yeah, so how about that? How about, even if you're a person who is chasing a big grail and you're saving diligently, well, what's better, having cash in a bank account just sit there, or buying cards worth a few hundred or a few grand for 6 months, and then you've had fun owning those cards, and then you cash them out and you go get your big one.
Something 2 years ago. No, because 2 years ago that worked so well, where it was you could literally buy anything. Mm-hmm. And by the time you were ready to consolidate, it had 5x, and you were like, not only did I consolidate, but I'm a fucking boss, man, and I right. Bought $10,000 worth of cards, and now I'll consolidate into a $50,000 card.
Yeah, it doesn't really work that way anymore. There is a risk that
it doesn't work.
There's a risk that cash might appreciate better than cards. Right. There's always that risk. So
it could be worse. You could have bought NFTs in crypto.
Let's go. Oh, are we no?
I have a one quick story. I have this friend who I've worked with in the past, in the tech world, and he's like, "Hey, I've got this idea. I think you could help me build it out or something, whatever." And he's like, "It's like an NFT project." It's just let me stop you there. I was like, "Clearly you don't watch my content." And he's like, "No, I no offense, but I don't really watch anyone's content." I know. I was like, "I'm just kidding. It's a joke. I definitely am not interested." I said something just walk away, bud.
All right, I don't want to kick NFTs while they're down. So, all right, process through.
That's the best time.
You do, but you won't.
You don't have to extend your leg too far.
Okay. Process through. Okay. All right, DJ Fedman, thank you, Chewy, for explaining that, man. Shout out to the great Chewy. DJ Fedman says, and let's just, normally please submit questions in advance, but in the chat, do you think that there will ever be a day when physical cards will be recognized as an asset that could be used to buy a house or a larger asset?
Like indirectly you can now, right? Like you could get loans out against your cards through PWCC, for example, and you can buy the house, but not directly. I don't know, man. I don't think so. That feels like, can you do that with art today?
No.
So I don't think there's really much of a path for it,
Yeah. All right. Process through says, please explain the out-of-nowhere spike in Moses Malone cards. He's always been considered one of the best centers ever, so why the spike now? I love this particular little bit of the hobby from this week. I think this is the headline news from this week. I think it's an illustration. If I wasn't so lazy these days, I would have made a nice, pretty post about it to my page, but story posts will have to do. Look, Moses Malone, his 1975 Topps rookie card in a PSA 10 sold for around $13,000 according to Card Ladder last August, and that was the last sale until two PWCC high-end examples sold a few days ago for an average price of $102,000. So one sold for $99,000, one sold for $105,000. So how in the world did Moses Malone cards go from or average price of $99,000? I'm sorry. How do they go from $12,500 to $99,000? How do they 8x in 6 months? And my theory is it's related to the NBA Top 75 list. I think Moses Malone was out of sight and out of mind. And then this NBA Top 75 list came out, and it ranked him as 15th. ESPN either had him as 15th or 16th all time. They had him ahead of Steph Curry. They had him ahead of Dwayne Wade. They had him ahead of Allen Iverson. They had him ahead of Dirk Nowitzki. They had him ahead of a lot of great players. Giannis. They had him ahead of a lot of great players who, have huge collector bases. And so when that happened, and, a little bit of thinking went into Moses Malone, said, wait, this guy's a top 15 all-time player. He's got 3 MVPs. He's the only player in the history of the league to win back-to-back MVPs with different teams. He's an NBA champion. He's an NBA Finals MVP. He has one solo rookie card with Topps, and the population is like 36 or something like that. Like
36, yep.
36. So why not? Why isn't this guy? Why is this guy's one rookie card? He has nothing. He has no Prism Black. He has no NT logo, man. He has no flawless star swatch. He doesn't have Donruss. He doesn't have Optic. He has a Topps rookie card, PSA 10, and that's it. And so, I think multiple people concluded that, Moses Malone, I'll take one of those 36 PSA 10s and I'll bid strong. What do you think, Josh?
I think this is the story of the week as well. We got a lot of messages from our customers, from people using Card Ladder. They're like, how come my Moses Malone index went up 6x this week? What the hell is going on? Why do you think all my Moses Malone cards are so much more expensive? And I was like, well, there was a sale that took a card from $12,000 to $100,000, and so there's pretty strong reason to believe that now, yes, the Moses Malone market is up a lot this week because of that really exciting sale. I think this is the stuff that really that I just love. Like, I love that we set ourselves apart in our content by touching on stuff like this, because this is the stuff that moves the hobby forward in silence, and it continues to happen. We always see these really awesome prices, like when we talked about the Fleer low pop PSA 10 of like non Hall of Famers.
More.
That kind of stuff is like, there's people out there collecting this stuff. They just don't give a shit to tell you about it on Instagram and brag about it and try to pump it to the moon. They just do it in silence because they enjoy it. And I just love that part of the hobby. It just always really invigorates me and keeps me bullish on everything. And this story to me is more crucial to the future of the hobby than Drake.
Couldn't agree more.
Amen.
Unless Drake starts buying Moses Malone rookies, and then
he becomes part of Moses Malone's story, not the other way around.
Christina had that
The other
so
thing you
she
didn't,
didn't even flinch.
the other thing you didn't say about Moses is that Charles Barkley often mentions Moses Malone on the TNT show because he was his like pseudo big brother, father figure, whatever you want to call it, when he was coming up in the NBA. So, Charles and the crew remind us of sort of this era of players a lot, and it's neat to like see them pop up on these top 75 lists where it's like, holy shit, he won back-to-back. He won MVPs for 2 different teams. Fantastic player, great rebounder. He's got this really low pop. I used to talk about this on this show where the Julius Erving PSA 10 rookie, I think it's a pop 2 or something, right? And it's like, if you compare the market cap of all Julius Erving or all Moses Malone rookie cards all together, and you compare it to like a Luka or Zion, it's like, what? Yeah, this card's $100,000, that's a lot, but their entire market cap of all their rookie cards is so small compared to the Black Prisms, the Golds, the Prisms, all the stuff. And I just like to be reminded of that when I see these big sales, and I like to remind people like, yeah, but that's their only rookie card.
Mm-hmm. I agree. All right, great. Love the question process through. Thank you for teeing that up for us. By the way, it wasn't just the Moses rookie either. The Moses Malone rookie was a top headline for us, but then his second year card jumped like 7 or 8x in value the next day.
That's the tall boy?
Topps tall boy PSA 10. Yeah. It went from... Yeah.
Look how young he looks in this picture. Hold on, because you can't really see his face in the rookie. So here, look at this.
The tall boy's a cool looking card. Yeah. That's crazy. That's an epic picture.
He's so young.
All right. So CardMad5 wants to know, what is the ratio of time you spend looking at the cards you own versus the time you spend looking at cards that you don't own? Always enjoy the show. Thanks.
That's a good question. Probably like 10% my own, just because of how much time I spend on Instagram and eBay and all that stuff.
Yeah. So like that, if it's 10% your own and 90% others, that's about a 9-to-1 ratio.
Well, let me ask you this though: at what point do the cards that you don't own and you're looking at, like because you're about to buy them, become the cards that you own in the mathematic equation? Because like if I'm on eBay waiting for a 7-day auction to end for a Maxi Cleva, and I'm checking it like 4 times a day to see if like what's going on and how many watchers it has, like technically I don't own it. But as soon as that auction ends, I now own it. So does that formula then go back? Like does that sway the pendulum?
Probably, yeah. Maybe it's more like 15, but I still feel like I look at Instagram, so many cards that I don't own,
Yeah. I look at card ladder cards I don't own a lot.
That's very true.
Yeah, you guys are probably like 1%. You look at so many cards.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll have to really think about that and try and make a conscious effort to figure it out. Because I'm always looking at least like one card I own. I always have like something on a stand or like something laid out on my desk. So.
Yeah, but for every one time you glance at it, you're staring at card ladder and adding cards and doing research on your screen.
Yeah.
I feel like the heart of the question is like, how often do you make it a point to look at your own cards?
And maybe we should be doing more of that?
Yeah, or like maybe what kind of reminds you that you should, what reminds you like, hey, I should go look at my cards, or what like in your day-to-day is like, hey, I haven't looked at my cards in an hour, I should go do that.
Whenever I go to Showcase and Card Ladder, I browse and look at the cool new cards, but like within 2 to 3 minutes, I just land on my page and I just start looking at mine. And I'm just like, I'm like, oh, look how cool my cards are.
Oh my gosh, you were like on a phone call, or you were on a phone call with Josh today, and Josh is like talking, and like we're having like a team meeting, and you're on Showcase just like clicking your McCaffreys over and over again, and like like expanding them to a large screen and like going back to another one and then going back to the same one. And I was like, my ADD was going crazy because we were talking about something and then you just kept flipping through your cards.
That was my ADD going crazy.
That's like the Boy Scout badge you get as a collector when your own collection is your favorite collection. I feel like that's what we should all be chasing. It's like, it doesn't even need to be that your own collection is the most expensive or like, if you had to put together the perfect PC, it doesn't necessarily do that. I mean, like, you should be buying stuff and curating your own collection to the point where, yes, my collection is my favorite. I like looking at mine because I bought the cards that I wanted.
Yeah.
I agree. All right. Long Island Sports Cards would like to know, does jersey numbered count if the player isn't pictured in that jersey number?
Dude, A+ for questions this week.
Dude, the questions this week were fantastic.
Maybe Thursday is a better day for questions.
Because people are a little more...
It's not like the end of the week rundown of like brain fog.
Everyone's lazy on Friday. They're mailing it in.
Yeah, they mail it in on Friday. I think that's what we learned today. People mail it in on Fridays.
The answer is no. And this one is like a pet peeve of mine when people are like, 6 of 23 LeBron or 6 of whatever, and he's in a 23 jersey. I'm like, I know what you're saying, but like Dennis Rodman collectors are probably going to like freak out if you make that a rule because Dennis Rodman had like 100 numbers and it has to be pictured on the card. What do you think?
I agree. I'm all for limiting the amount of hyping that can go on surrounding jersey numbers. So how about this? How about if you can't even see the number, even if it's the right number, you can't see it. That doesn't even count.
When Zion's doing this with the ball, can you see the number on his jersey? I don't know.
Maybe not. All right. Yeah.
What about one of ones where the guy's jersey number is 1?
Or 11.
I mean, what's it going to get a premium compared to? Like.
It's just like, people are like, 1 of 1, also jersey number. It's like, yeah, but, okay.
Yeah. Well, perimeter collectibles points, I'll still pay more for a 6 of 23 rather than a 7 of 23, so it does matter. And that's true. It does matter. It does matter. On
a scale of not mattering at all, it kind of matters. Yeah, sure.
All right. Jesse J. Pender says, here you go. Since you were just rude right there, we're going to give you a Trae Young question. Jesse J. Pender says, why does Trae Young have over twice as many cards in card ladder than Kareem Abdul-Jabbar? Trae was not even
Just gonna blame us.
Trae was not even a top 75 all-time player, and Kareem was number 3. Does this support speculation over collecting? So, all right, let me just first say that this is such a valid point, I think. And look, we do need more Kareem cards in the database, so I'm with you. And we'll make a conscious effort to improve that. But by the same token, we go with what our members ask us to add, and we work off the submissions list. And Trae Young is having cards sell regularly that are mind-boggling. He had his Prism Black PSA 10 sold for $120,000 last golden auction, I think it was, or in one of the recent big auctions. And that card was projected by Card Ladder to sell for $80,000. So like that's a headline grabbing Trae Young sale. And so Trae Young also there are a lot of things that make collecting Trae Young excited. But
dude, you could have taken the way easier route that we just talked about, which is that vintage players just have less cards. So like there's gonna be less cards to have in the system. Like Trae Young definitely has more cards than Kareem. I can guarantee you that.
Trae Young probably has more cards in 2018 than Kareem had over his career.
Yeah, because Kareem didn't even get he didn't get to the 90s, so he didn't get to the junk wax. He just kind of, I think his 86 Flair might be towards the end of it, and he's got some exquisite stuff, but there's not a lot of Kareem cards. Wilt Chamberlain, even way less, by the way.
All right, so there you go. There's your Kareem Abdul-Jabbar pump for the week. Pump it on.
Respectfully.
Guys. All right, Drake's PC. It is a fair point though. Like we'll get more coverage of Kareem cards. Send me a good Kareem card that we're not covering that we should be covering, and I'll put it in the card ladder myself. All right.
Yes, get action items. Let's go.
Let's go. Actually, if you could put together a slide deck for me and highlight some of Kareem's best cards and why, and please spend at least a few days on it. All right. Drake's PC said, not Drake, but Drake's PC.
Huh?
How many followers did Drake's PC get this week?
So many.
Yeah, we should ask him.
Like, oh my God, it's you. He's like, no, it's not. But yeah.
Drake's PC says, when a player or an entertainer, etc., passes away, should there be a freeze on buying and selling their cards so sellers aren't using the death to profit and buyers don't get burned by paying inflated prices? I know it's capitalism here, but I think it would be healthier overall if a moratorium was put into place.
How would you
Death.
How would you?
You would enforce it by death. If you sell the card of a dead player, you die right alongside with them.
There you go.
Eye for an eye.
I mean, that's pretty intense.
Well, I'm going to quote a hobby friend of mine. I don't know if he actually wants his name associated with this quote, so I'll just say the quote, and he can know that it was him. He said, athletes profit off of the fans while they're alive, and fans profit off the athletes when they're dead. A moment of silence for the dead athletes who are being profited off of.
Next question.
I don't know, Drake. There you go, bud. It is a gross part of the hobby. I'm with you on that. Cardboard Insights says, what is the future of set collecting?
Christina's PC.
This isn't like an isolated topic. I've seen people talk more and more about this. Like, where the hell have the set collectors gone? Is anybody still building sets?
They're still there.
Yep. Yeah, I just keep thinking of that like Fleer low pop thing. Like the 87 and 88 Fleer, you know, like pop 4 of like the set collectors. It's just keeps getting less and less, you know, like publicity and hype around it, but I feel it's always there. It's something about set collecting that's always going to appeal to a broad group of people.
Yep, I agree. And let me just address something from Sports Cards and More. He says he stopped using Card Ladder because he's a Bowman Chrome baseball guy, and we barely have any. We'd love to see more Bowman Chrome baseball. Great point. We're definitely working on getting more verified Bowman Chrome baseball into the verified portion of the ladder database, but also there's a new feature on Card Ladder 2.0 called Sales History that will have every Bowman Chrome sale that you could ever want with pictures in many instances. And you can, in one click, add it to your collection and use our indexing and our pricing algorithms to monitor the price going forward. So just to come on back and see if Sales History is what does the trick for you. And go ahead and give this the good old 7-day free trial and see. Because I think you'll...
We've been adding a lot of Bowman Chrome, right?
We did. Last month we added quite a bit of Bowman Chrome.
Well, yeah.
But there's still much more work to do.
Yeah, for sure.
Now, all right. Now on the set collecting thing, one thing I did want to point out is that Chris, I'm building a set right now. I'm building the 2018 Prism Luck of the Lottery Gold set. It's a 15 card insert set, and it's tough to find. I just got the Miles Bridges, which was not cheap, and you know we already have the Luca. The biggest card that we don't have that we still need is the Trey. And we're building a set right now. Like, we're building sets. Like, people are still building sets. It just, maybe it's not getting all the fanfare right now, but...
No, it's not, because when I started posting that I was building the rainbow, I had a bunch of people reach out to me and tell me that they build rainbows as well. And I think it's just, you know, it's maybe not talked about as much, and potentially people don't realize it when these collectors are posting their cards that this is part of a set build or a rainbow chase, but it's there.
Do you think Drake will set collect? That's the real question. I need to know because I need to do what he's going to do. I need to get ahead of that. Apparently, I need to spend all my money in, flawless cases.
Is it okay if I spend Friday night watching other men open basketball cards? Her. Only if you watch Grey's Anatomy with me first. Labeem James says, do what you gotta do. Me, after tagging Drake 50 plus times and getting no response. Please, Drake, reply to me.
This one's my favorite.
Hobby Simps embracing the celebrity who's just trying to rip some wax.
That one was pretty good.
I don't have the audio. I mean, this is great.
Degrassi.
Drake evolved backwards after he opened those prison boxes.
The other night or last night, I was telling my wife about the Drake thing, and she's like, I don't really know much of his music. Can you name one song of his? And I was like, I cannot. I can't name one song of his. That's how pathetic I am.
That's the one song I know.
There you go. Christina knows the song.
It wasn't even a single.
All right.
If you guys are listening to this on podcast form, Chris just showed a bunch of Lameem's memes. So if you want to see, go over to YouTube and check it out.
All right. Mad City Collectors.
Started from the bottom. Lameem started from the bottom, and now he's here.
So he's here, all right. Lameem is here, clout chasing.
In his own
Why,
way.
Jose? Why? Lameem is here. He's clout chasing on the regular and just simping all over the place. All right. Mad City Collector says, outside of on-court / on-field performance, what factors do you think affect the player's popularity in the hobby? For me, Giannis's dad jokes crack me up every time and make me more of a fan. So are there intangibles or off-the-court tangibles that make you like a player more? Like, I don't know, LeBron joining a break.
I got two.
Okay.
One, are you currently not playing? That's a big one. Are you not even playing? Are you in the off season or are you in the bubble? You're not in the bubble. You're not playing. Two, are you young? Do you have some sort of future prospect where we don't know what you're going to be yet?
Okay.
I like Giannis more because of his dad jokes, and sometimes you'll see really nice videos of him embracing young fans who freak out when they meet him, and I think that's really sweet.
I got another one.
All right.
Luca and his supercuts, haircuts.
Hey, why? I said
Very endearing to me.
Why spend $500 for a haircut when your girl can just take a razor to your head and it'll be fine?
No, I don't even think that's it. I think after studying this issue closely for years, I think he cuts his own hair. He
I want
uses
to find
hair.
the one from the other night. The one from the other night was so egregious. I have to find it. Someone in the chat, tell me where to find it because it was so bad the other night. It was probably Lameem or somebody that posted a picture, and I was like, "What?"
Look up the Nets. Look up the Nets game. Look up the Nets game.
Okay. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Oh, I know what you're talking about. He cuts his own hair.
I'm not. I gotta find it. I'm I love this guy, but what is happening? It's not straight anywhere. It's the fade is really, it's not a fade. It's just hair and then not hair.
He doesn't get enough smoke for that in the mainstream. They made fun of him for being fat, but they won't touch the hair.
He's all over the place with the hair.
Yeah.
Like here's one. I got one. This one's pretty bad.
He'll show up looking all different types of ways. Yeah, look, that's a fade.
It's something. That was my chance. I blew it. That was my chance.
I was waiting for it, but
I blew it. I really did blow that. Really.
I really thought that was what.
There'll be more chances.
God, it's like I want to be a famous comedian, and then I just do this shit. It's like, what are you doing?
Should we get a live look at Josh not realizing what he should have been doing?
I'm just so wrapped up in like, what can I do to make Drake love me that I just lost sight of, my real trash can.
Oh boy! All right, Summertime Cards says, why is the 1952 Mickey Mantle tops worth more than the 1951 Bowman Mickey Mantle?
Because it's tops, right? And there was something else about the tops, like being the first. I mean, it's the first year of tops, right? It was like the first tops licensed product. I'm not sure. Other than that, like something about the significance of tops at that time, it just carries way more weight.
Sounds about right to me. Something also
and
about
because dumping them in the sea.
Yeah, right. The 51 Bowman Mantle also is a horizontal card, whereas the 52 Tops is a vertical, and it's just a really iconic looking card. I think. Look, but we're just rationalizing this after the fact. Like, these markets developed and evolved the way that they did, and I think it was the great Putnam Cards who once said, the market has spoken. So the market has spoken. All right. Card Collecting 82 would like to know, are insert brand here style of cards the next PMG? Flux Titans, Prism Scope Parallels, Certified Die Cuts.
No, I'm so sick of this topic. Oh my God, I'm so sick of this. If you have to tell me that something is the next of it, that automatically disqualifies it. It means it can't stand on its own.
Yes.
You have to freaking explain it to me. Then no.
That's what Spinatron said, which I thought was great. He said, if it's the next PMG, then it's not.
Like, if you just think in your mind, in your brain, if you think about 2012 Prism Gold, what is it about that set to you that's iconic?
Because it's the next PMG.
Ugh. No, because it's it builds its own. I know you're being facetious, but it builds its own story parallel. You like that? Parallel to the PMG, where it's its own history. It makes its own story.
Yeah, I agree. Why do you want to be the next PMG? But what they're saying is not, is it the next PMG? The question is is this the next card to 100x in value? That's actually what's being asked. Do you agree?
Yes.
So.
Well, let me hold on. I'll show you a picture of the real next PMG. Got it. This is, if you guys want the insider feeling on the next PMG, it's right here.
There we go. There we go. Rim shot, please. Holy shit, $107 for that trick?
I was waiting for you to notice the price. Holy shit. Trash can.
It really is.
Dude, trash can to the moon. Trash can to the moon.
Dude, what were those trash cans going for 2 years ago, man? I bet those things are appreciating like crazy.
Supply chain issues, man. Fucking crazy out there.
Those trash cans are... Do we have that in the card liner? That particular hefty brand? All right.
I feel like we should have an Easter egg of just one trash can a ladder.
Maybe we already do.
She's frantically adding it.
There's so many jokes I could do there, but I'm not going to throw any card under the bus.
That one was that was too forced, but I had to make up for the.
I liked it just the same. Okay. WC
Galvanized,
WC,
galvanized steel man.
WC Cardsman says, do you prefer the eBay auction format where it ends when it ends? Or do you like the golden format that pushes back the ending bid each time a new bid comes in? Maybe I mistranscribed this question, but that's not quite how it works, right? How does golden work, Josh?
You have to put in a bid before the bidding period ends, and then it begins the extended bidding where the people who previously have placed the bid can continue bidding until everyone gives up. And so it's like the last person to bid wins.
And so the question asker goes on, it seems like with all the sniping, eBay has basically turned into a blind auction site. I'm a little bit confused by this question, but I think the question is basically, do you like auctions better when it's eBay style or when it's golden style?
Mm-hmm. I like extended bidding style better because I know if I'm going to win or lose consciously. I do not enjoy buyer's premium, however, so that heavily sways it the other way. No, I mean, if we're just talking about the bidding strategy, I definitely like extended better. You?
Wow, I like the eBay format better personally. I just want to have my snipe max bid ready to go, and then I want to know right away if I won or if I lost.
The extended can take hours.
Oh, it can be brutal. It can be absolutely brutal and terrifying. All right.
It like depends on the value. If it's like a really, really expensive card where I'm spending my week to get it, I want to make sure I win it extended. But if it's like, you know, like to your point, I don't want to spend 6 hours winning a $1,000 card necessarily.
Fair enough.
What is the longest extended bidding? Like, is someone tracking that? Like,
It was a few months.
it's not. Shut up. Oh my god, I had a moment where I was like, wait, what?
Christina will fall for anything. All right.
Really? Oh, you shouldn't have told me that. I like people like
You
that.
don't know that by now?
Yeah, he knows.
I don't.
Does it?
I didn't know that specific. That's like a very specific trait of a person, the gullible, like refall for almost. Oh man, Vegas just got more fun. Did you know, Christina, that at Vegas casinos, I'll just like start naming random shit.
Christina always gets upset because whether she's met like some uncles of mine or my dad or my brother or my friends, everybody eventually just ends up trolling the shit out of her because they just figure out that she just fucking believes anything.
The McGill men, a real honorable bunch.
Yeah, a real honorable bunch. There, see, look, Stefan Wax said that. See, he's right there with me. He's right there.
But there's a difference between like teasing and like having the specific trait of being gullible. That's different.
She's not gullible, but she's fun to tease. I think that's the right place to draw the line. Now everybody in the hobby is gonna tease Christina.
Yeah, everyone's gonna DM me crazy things and be like, "Did you know?" Thanks, guys.
I'm gonna come up with like a list of Vegas ones. I can't wait. Like the casinos,
No,
those like.
no, Josh. Like, I grew up going to Vegas, so Vegas is not a great place for you to try to troll me.
My favorite ones are like the second you get to Vegas, like within 10 minutes, someone's like, "Did you know there's no clocks in any of the casinos? And here's why." Or someone's like, "Did you know they pump oxygen through the vents to get people more, happy while they're gambling?" Like, yeah. Did you know that like scientifically they place the slot machines near the doors because within 5 minutes.
It's like those insurance commercials, that you talked about on a few episodes ago where the dad's like, "Man, this parking lot's really making a lot of money."
Those are the best commercials ever.
Right.
They're like, "Yeah, when should we leave the game?"
All right. TJ Bugs says, what percentage of the card market do you think is domestic versus international?
I don't know, man. That's so hard to say. Like, 40-60.
Which way? 40 domestic, 60 international?
Yeah.
I think it's about 95-5.
No, it's 82-18.
Domestic to international?
Yes, I think domestic is a gigantic swath of sports card purchasing. So I said 95, you said 82, and Josh said 40. So divide that by 3, we get 72% is the average of our guesses. That's probably about right.
No, I like my answer better than the average.
Yeah. I don't know. What is somebody in the chat chime in? I know it's Thursday night, and this is, you guys still have to work tomorrow, but I don't care. 69-31, 80-20, the Pareto principle.
Nice.
Yeah, nice. 69-31. We couldn't get through a question without a childish suggestion, could we?
So close.
So close. I don't know.
Quite.
Maybe he did. All right. Let's proceed. More good questions tonight. Well, okay. Oh, baby, I like it raw says, we need more collectors. Keep preaching that. I feel like the hobby is 30-70 right now. 30% collector, 70% trolls. I don't know. What's the other 70? Dealers, flippers, investors?
And trolls.
And trolls. And content creators?
And
the hobby's definitely... The hobby's definitely like... And the hobby's definitely 5% collectors, 95%.
You were just like the guy are you the guy that walks up to the big jar of beans and he's like, there's like 40 beans in there. And it's like, Chris, there's like 40 like purple ones, man. There's like 10,000 beans in there. You're just like not quite with the number game. You're like, I think it's like 2%, maybe.
Hold on a minute. God damn it. Oh, here we go. So, how many jelly beans are in there? 20 to 30, you'd say?
That's an office joke. Remember, Mike, they do that, and Michael says something, and Pam's like, there's like 20 green ones. Or no, it's Pam that says it, and then Jim says, Pam, there's like 20 green ones or whatever.
All right. Well, what do you say? How many what's the spread? Collectors versus other?
I think 1%. I like 30-70. That sounds about right. Just
yeah, I guess so.
Based off the feel.
Yeah, it just gets a little muddy. Like, what's the collector versus what's not? You know, everybody. It's hard to draw a clean distinction between a collector and an investor, I think. So. But yeah, we could always use more collectors. Collectors will never steer us wrong. Collectors are the foundational piece to this market and to this industry, and we can always use more of them.
I really don't think it's difficult to tell the difference between a collector and an investor.
Do you have to raise your eyebrows like this when you say it?
Yeah, because I'm trying to emphasize.
Well, why don't do you have something to say? All right, then. Let's go. Summertime cards with another question. Is F1 here to stay?
Yeah, probably. I mean, Topps is going to keep creating them, I would assume. And the Netflix documentary keeps coming out. The new season, I think, is coming out soon. Or the new F1 season. The actual sport started.
Yeah. Right? So there's plenty of content for the collecting world to...
Did the Netflix come out with the new ones yet?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I need to watch those. That's a great show.
I have a friend named... well, maybe I better not name him and embarrass him. I have a friend who watches everything, even TV related, on 1.5 speed. Or 2 speed. 2x. So he watched, like the whole... or a good chunk of the F1 series in an evening because he watches it at like 1.5 times or 2 times. Like, I almost understand listening to podcasts at that speed, but watching TV at that speed?
I feel like that would get me like.
How do you watch TV at 2x?
Well, the cars are already fast. He just makes them a little bit faster.
Well, so the poll result on the is the F1 here to stay was like 51-49. 51 said,
Wow.
yeah, that's not good. that's a very poor turnout, because what incentive does somebody have to say, like, is F1 here to stay? No. So for it to get that bad of a spread is a little bit alarming. But maybe
I think
there's F1 haters out there right now.
the people that said no are probably the ones that are just like sick of hearing people pump it and try to like make it a thing when they're like, this where was this a year ago? Nobody cared, and now all of a sudden I'm supposed to care about F1. People are just saying no because they're tired of that.
Yeah. All right, maybe so. I don't know, man. There's a lot of fringe categories of the hobby that I'm not sure if they're here to stay. But, we were skeptical of soccer, but soccer's proven to have some staying power. So, like,
I just like, I'm not, yeah.
can we just talk about a sale that happened really quick also?
Yeah, while you're getting that, I was just going to say, like, I'm not in the business of, like, saying someone shouldn't collect a certain aspect of the hobby. I'm okay, like, saying I'm annoyed at the pumping and stuff. Of course we all are, but, like, it's just not, doesn't make any sense for me to be like, oh, I think that whole thing should go away.
I hear you. So there was a tremendous F1 sale.
Oh, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
I can't even find, like, I don't even think this
I'll find
card
it.
has a pop report right now. Like, or it isn't showing up.
Sometimes you have to Google.
Yeah, can you see if this card has a pop report? Here's the card.
Yeah, do you want to know the best way to look up a pop report? Can I teach you a trick?
Are you going to tell me cert lookup?
Yep.
Yeah. I was trying to dig in, because, like, all right, so here, this card, 2006 Futera Grand Prix Lewis Hamilton PSA 9. It was recently graded, right? The cert number starts with 6 and then 3, so it's very recently graded. Sold for $312,000. All right, this card sold for $312,000. I couldn't find a single copy of this card in Card Ladder sales history. I couldn't find one.
That's because there's 1 9, 1 8, 1 7, and 2 authentic.
Yeah, there you go. It's a pop 1, none higher. And Christina says there's an 8, a 7, and 2 authentic.
Yeah.
So it's only been graded 5 times.
Mm-hmm.
The watch is like a base card, and there's like millions of them.
I know nothing about this card or this set. It has no sales history, and then all of a sudden, it's a $312,000 card.
I mean, there's probably a group of people who are going to just say, like, it's, his rookie card, and there's only one of them. I don't know.
Yeah.
There's 100 cards in that set. The last number 100 was the checklist.
Okay, so Christina says it's a 100-card set. Is it a multi-sport set?
It is listed on, no, it's a racing set. It's listed
Grand Prix.
PSA as a miscellaneous sport.
Well, there you go. So, I mean, I'd probably also be scratching my head if we were looking at prices on other categories I don't truly understand, like tickets or something like that. But I was astounded that was one of the highest selling items from that entire auction, was a card that nobody has heard of except for a few. There's some even in the chat, like Chase points out the OG of F1 rookie cards. So, all right, we'll do our homework on this card, but I just remember looking at that price, trying to look at sales history, VHS, and I was just like, man, what was the basis for paying $312,000 for this card? Like, what's its comp? What's its comp in a different, like, do you have any input on that card, or can anybody stop me from just rambling?
No, I like the sort of like off sports, like tennis and F1 and golf and stuff. Like they just don't have nearly the history that like basketball and baseball and football cards have. So it's just really odd to me when you're trying to pick like the rookie card, especially when there isn't like an official set, produced by the league. And like tennis, it's like Ace. It's like some random brand that makes it. It's confusing to me.
Yep, it's confusing to me as well. Christina just sent me a little research she did. Let me see so she sent me the PSA card facts on this set. This 100 card set is known primarily for containing the first Lewis Hamilton card. However, only 480 boxes of this product were produced, and they were issued in Asia and the Middle East. As a result, they are exceptionally rare, with only a handful actually confirmed to still exist.
Thanks, PSA.
There you go. So maybe 312,000 is cheap. Okay. Now we're pumping the set. All right. It's from South Bay Collector. Love, marry, and kill. And you have three options. Tops, Panini, and Upper Deck. And you do not have to answer this, by the way. This is more for the chat to chime in. Tops, Panini, Upper Deck. Which one do you love? Which one do you marry? And which one do you kill? Do you want to answer that one, Josh?
Yeah, kill Panini. I'm just trying to figure out the other two. Love Tops, marry Upper Deck.
All right. Upstate Sports Card says, if the 1986 Topps Steve Young PSA 10 is setting record prices, why are the Topps USFL cards so cheap in the same gem mint grade? What are your thoughts about the long-term potential? So Reggie White has an important USFL PSA 10 rookie card, I think from 84, that last sold for around 17 grand, I think, or its card letter value is around 17 grand. The Steve Young, I don't think is even quite that high right now, whereas his Topps rookie card is multiples higher of that, I think. What do you think, Josh? Steve Young obviously has his Topps rookie card. What about his Topps rookie card last sold for 35 grand in 2020. 86 grand valuation today. So what do you think? Are these USFL Steve Young cards something worth looking at?
I mean, people are always going to value NFL over those other leagues, but if it's like a true rookie, I guess could be something there.
There's his USFL 84 Topps. So
it's crazy that people came from the USFL and then became legendary NFL players after the fact.
Yep. Yeah, look, just shining a light on USFL cards. Don't really know a ton about them. But thank you for the insight there, Upstate. All right. Man, we still have so many questions. Let me go to some more loosey-goosey questions here.
You just said loosey-goosey.
Mm-hmm.
Adorable.
Oh, I'm staring at these paragraphs, just these, and I'm just like, do I want to put in the effort to read this question to you? Oh, all right, I like this question. This is from Trading Card Finds. Would sales for graded cards be better if there were no numbers associated with the grade? So if grades were something like near mint or gem mint, would sales be would sales be closer? I'm genuinely curious what sales would be like if grading companies label their grades as mint versus gem rather than 9 versus 10.
I mean, yeah, probably. That's kind of like putting us back in the age pre-grading of how people would sell cards based on just like the condition, right? It'd probably be more similar to that. I think the 10, just having the 10 and a not 10 makes it, very much a separator.
But I think that like gem would just become it would take longer for people to recognize that gem is better than mint. But if you had graded cards that said gem that were the equivalent of 10, like in the hierarchy still stands.
All right. Now, here comes my take. I don't really subscribe to the number simping theory. I'm not one who says, well, PSA slabs do so much better because it's the number 10 and BGS is the number 9.5. And, I call that number simping. I don't subscribe to the theory that people number simp like that. I think people gravitate towards PSA and have gravitated towards PSA quite a bit lately because it's the slab to buy, because it's what people recommend when somebody says, who should I grade with? It's because they have a terrific brand equity in the hobby. It's because, it's a self-fulfilling prophecy to some extent. It's a virtuous circle to some extent. So I'm not huge on the idea that like, well, if BGS, their scale was 10, 9, and 8 and PSA's was 10, 9, and 8, then everything would be equal. I don't think that's the right answer to this question. So I think this is more a question of brand and people, in the inertia of one company's slab selling strong, sort of self-perpetuating. What do you think?
I mean, I'm definitely on the camp of the people that think the 10 is important. That's kind of why I choose PSA because of what you said more so, but the 10 definitely helps for me.
Okay. Yeah, and, it just doesn't matter to me at all because I'm like, what does the number represent? Is it saying it's a gem mint slab? Okay. So, but then a different question, Max Rival says, can we discuss BGS Black Label prices? I understand that it's a unicorn grade, but at what point are we buying the label and not the card? Black labels are consistently listed for 10x the price of a PSA 10. You see a veteran year base card all over the place for $1, and then randomly one pops up in a BGS 10 Black Label for $300 or more. The card hasn't changed. It's still not rare. It's still not highly desired. I just can't ever see myself paying up for one of those. What do you think?
Agreed. A BGS 10 Black Label of a base prism of like Zion or Jaw is the most insane thing to me ever. You'll never see me own anything remotely close to something like that.
But you do prefer PSA 10s to like 9s or 8s?
Yes.
Your OCD doesn't like put a premium on having 4 10s on that subgrade?
Then it's like, if there's people out there that only collect Black Label because of their OCD, it's going to be really an uphill battle to be a collector.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe they're collecting the slabs, not the card.
Yeah. Slab collectors. I get the appeal of the BGS 10, and if PSA had the equivalent of a Black Label, which I'm not advocating that they do, but if they did, then you would see some truly bizarre astronomical prices. And like the closest thing you can see to that is like the PSA 10 with the PWCC top 5%, like the Jordan Fleer sells for like 4x in that top 5% versus just the good old regular PSA 10 base rookie 86 Fleer rookie. So one of those sold for like $800,000 last summer, and in that same time period they were selling for around $220 to $250 without the sticker. So I get it. I understand why that happens. Some people want the best of the best. I don't think that's rocket science either. Somebody wants to have the very, very best version of that card. And a BGS 10 Black Label is the closest you're going to get to it at this time.
What's a BGS 10 Black Label 86 Fleer Jordan? What's that one?
Well, thank God one doesn't exist.
Is there even a BGS 10? There is, right?
There's 6 of them.
Oh, I haven't seen one of those in a while.
It is interesting that those haven't come out. Maybe they've all been crossed to PSA 10s.
Like, I'm trying to make money on this fucking card.
I don't know. All right.
Are you worried about the future of BGS? They've actually, didn't they come out and say like we'd like to start scaling and expanding the number of cards we grade?
I'm super loyal to PSA. PSA is a sister company of ours. We just had Steve Sloan from PSA on. I think PSA is the leading grading company and the best grading company out there. But I'm more worried about the hobby than I am about BGS, because BGS announced to zero fanfare, zero memes, zero hype posts, zero shilling. They just came out and said, we're expanding our operation by 3x. We're moving into a new facility. And here you go, hobby. You wanted us to do more? You wanted us to expand our operation? We're tripling our operation. And nobody gave a shit. So what really is happening is you have a lot of people who own PSA cards already or have a brand loyalty to PSA for whatever reason, and they look to shit on BGS whenever they can because they're threatened by BGS. And they don't want BGS to, ever come up from the grave that it has one leg in right now. But I'm not worried about BGS at all. Here's when I'd be worried about BGS. When everybody stops shitting on them. That's when they become irrelevant and they're no longer a threat. As long as people are talking shit about BGS, that's how you know those PSA simps still feel the heat from BGS for some reason. And I don't even know why exactly, because BGS is like a mere fraction of PSA. So there's really nothing to worry about, PSA simps.
Is this like your new John Morant thing?
No, it's not. If this were that, PSA is Luka and BGS is John Morant. That's how I would go with that one.
Does that mean you're going to be building a story post supporting? I can't even pick one. FGA tomorrow for number 2.
No, and PSA, they scaled their operation. Like, dude, when Steve was talking about, they grade 40,000 cards a day.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Nobody's catching PSA. The PSA just, you understand why people like PSA. They just like the consistency of the slab. They like the slenderness of the slab. They like the professionalism of the turnaround times. They like the fact that, they have a big presence and they have over 100,000 followers on Instagram or however many they have. And they have this huge headquarters in Southern California and they've got a new one coming on the East Coast. Like, PSA has given people all the reason in the world to support them. And they obviously care about what the customers think. BGS is like, we really don't care what you guys think. We're just down here in Dallas running our business. We know you guys are going to keep submitting to us. We're not worried about it. And then when they do try to make a positive announcement, nobody gives a shit. Nobody cared. Nobody even remotely cared. So that's how I know a lot of the shit talking about BGS is it's not coming from an authentic place. It's just,
how we've been bothered by the sports media and like the lack of like realistic narratives are being created, and it's frustrating for us. We have a lot of that in cards too, man.
Oh yeah,
where it's like 4 or 5 content creators decide, what we're gonna shit on today and where the memes go and stuff.
Yeah. Well, look, I think our meme creators are the people who tell the closest thing to the truth on a regular basis in this hobby. So,
present company excluded.
No, Lameme is the sage of the hobby. He just takes because he put in his bio, do not take this account seriously. He can just say the truth.
He's the Jon Stewart of the hobby, I'm telling you.
The Jon Stewart of the hobby. There we go.
That was Jon Stewart's whole thing. He would just like make fun of every news outlet, say what but he knew a lot about it. He knew a lot about the politics. He knew about the the policies and stuff. But then anytime anyone would be like, you're pushing for a specific agenda just like the rest of us. And he's like, no, I'm just here for the comedy. Nope, this is not serious. Don't take it. It's like, come on, John.
Yeah. No doubt. All right.
I'm distracted because I'm fixing a bug on the app.
Nice. How did the bug come to your attention?
My friend messaged me and said, "This happens when you do this," and I'm fixing it.
Nice.
But I'm also listening.
Well, fuck, we have so many questions here. We're in that hour of just not caring anymore.
Yep. No, I care. These are, like I said, I've only had one beer tonight. I'm very focused.
Holy one.
And these are A+ questions. No, because tomorrow I'm driving. I don't really want to go.
Oh, I get it. Yeah, no, tonight the questions were really good. I wanted to make a story post telling people the questions sucked because I do like to do that, but I couldn't even do it this week. I thought the questions were excellent.
So you don't like when people shit on BGS for fun, but you like to shit on the questions for fun. I see.
I do. I sure do. We all like to shit on things. I just got done shitting on people for shitting on things. Really point out the irony of that.
Our favorite topic of conversation is just like, what should we shit on next?
Yeah, look,
who's annoying us today?
I have nothing against the shitters.
I also am a shitter.
Yeah, we all shit at our own pace.
I think there's a book called Everybody Poops. That's
the hobby.
About the hobby. It's the story of the hobby, the history of the hobby.
For the hobby.
All right. Sports Card 1532 said, how impactful is card production to a player's overall market and collectability? For example, Steph Curry's limited options for 2009 might hurt his market versus Tim Duncan's array of legendary inserts in 1997. I bring this up because I was looking to pick up a Steph Curry card, but I was quite disappointed when seeing the product offerings from 2009.
Man, this is one of my favorite topics because that's like how I pick players to collect to a certain extent. That's like why I picked Chris Paul, because he's got such a great array of options to choose from. That's a huge part of it, man. Like this is the same discussion as the Lewis Hamilton thing. It's like I'm a huge Lewis Hamilton fan, but I dig in and find out there's only one base card rookie and there's a pop. It's like I give up already, you know? It's like I can't even collect his rookie cards. I don't want to collect them.
Fair enough.
What do you think? Why did that play a role in the Christian McCaffrey decision?
Maybe. I don't know. 2017 was a pretty good year. It had a lot of nice products. But I think this is such a good point. I do think it matters to some extent. Like, I think like if Moses Malone had a Prism Black 1/1, if Moses Malone had a National Treasures Logo Man patch auto 1/1, that those would be worth way more than $100,000, which is, what his tops PSA 10 rookie goes for right now. So I think that's true. And, that if that's true, then it also stands to reason like that thinking scales out as well. And it would apply to, like if a player only has a few good offerings, it's not going to be nearly as exciting as if the player has lots of good offerings. So, but I do find the comparison of Steph Curry to Tim Duncan a little bit weird. I find, like, look, Steph Curry honestly is not the right example. Steph Curry is almost the exception that proves the rule here. Steph Curry, his index has gone up more than anybody else in the history of Card Ladder. Stephen Curry's index value today is 1,682,000, and it started at 1,000. So his index has gone up 1,600 times.
My story today, like Durant and LeBron, probably the two best of this era, depending on who you want to talk to about that, are down over the last year, and Curry's up 100%.
Just over the last year. He's doubled over the last year. Since Curry came into the league, no player's cards have gone up more from any period of their career. Any period. No player's cards have gone up more than Steph Curry's have from 2009 to today. 1,682-fold increase in Steph Curry's index. So Curry's the exception. Curry, despite a weak product offering, has seen the largest growth of any player.
Yeah. His cards aren't even that bad. I mean, I'm thinking about it. His National Treasures is one of the best. His Topps Chrome leaves a lot to be desired, but nobody beats Kobe Bryant's total span of cards. Just as an separate topic, he's got, because I don't even want your rookie year to be 97, 88, because I would rather the PMGs and the rubies like be non-rookie cards. I don't like the. First of all, the photos aren't as good for the rookies in those, but like I like to separate those grails from like it being a rookie card, if that makes sense. So Kobe having 96 rookie year with Topps Chrome, and then having those PMGs, then he's in Exquisite, and then he's in Panini. It's like incredible.
Well said. All right, there's some questions that are going to get left on the table, but that's just how it goes on a Thursday night. Oh, this is a fun question. Underdog Card said it's trade season in the NFL and the MLB. Well, if Collector's Universe traded you guys, what company in the hobby would you want to be traded to?
Oh my God. You're really going to get us in trouble tonight.
We should not answer that question, but for the few, the 60 stragglers left in the chat.
I have an answer to that question.
Yeah.
We just have people in the comments say, and then we won't say it because you can't see them later, and we'll just like laugh or not laugh.
We'll nod approvingly. I don't know. That's like saying if we were on the 1990s Bulls, what team would you want to get traded to? Why would I want to get traded from the dynasty? So I don't want to get traded. How about that?
There, truly, there's one.
I'm exercising my no trade clause.
Oh, so you're not Baker Mayfield?
No, I am not Baker Mayfield. I like the team that we play for. Who he played for.
That guy's demanding a trade now, all because they took a meeting with Deshaun Watson. Maybe play better and you wouldn't have this problem.
I mean, I kind of understand, though, because he's built his brand around Cleveland.
He's built his brand around brown, like poop. I just feel like being a douchebag about this topic for no reason, really.
It's that hour. It's that time of the night. You guys came with too many good questions tonight, and it really.
I need some like negative takes. Just give me something to make fun of. We'll do it.
All right. Publius13 said, one of my friends buys cards of Marvin Williams and Anthony Simons. What can I do to help?
Teach him about those two players' best rookie cards.
There you go.
Oh, I thought he meant, like, how can I stage an intervention?
No,
Oh, he did.
That is what he means.
Oh, okay.
That's exactly what he meant.
See? You're right. Oh, my God, you're right. He just did it.
I'm so right.
Oh, my God, she just did it.
I'm very, very right about that.
It's funny because, like, half the things out of my mouth are just, like, sarcastic waste of time. So she's going to be like, oh, my God, really? I'm like, what? No. I'm going to have so much fun with this. What am I more excited about? This news that Christina believes everything I say, or that Drake's in the hobby? What inning are we in of Drake?
Oh my God, it feels like we're in like extra innings. Can it just be over? Like,
One day.
we're ready for the off season.
It's been 2 days.
Dude, I've never seen so many grown men fanboy. Like, it's disgusting.
First of all, it's been 2 days, but really it's been 24 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Well, when did he post the picture of the boxes? It's like 30 hours.
30 hours.
Yeah.
30 hours.
Like, just let him rip cards. Like, why do we care? Like, I'm here for the cards. I don't care who else is ripping. That's just how I feel.
So you like that meme one where they're hugging? You like that meme, right?
Yeah.
perfect. He's like, I don't even know what you're crying for, but I'm just trying to rip these buckets. He did bring the attention on himself, though.
Yeah. Yeah, he could have gone behind a burner account. Yeah.
Or just like ordered the boxes and never posted them.
Yep, that too.
He did make a burner account, Panini Prince.
Yeah, he does that. But he told everybody it's him.
Did you play that Kevin Durant video? It's later enough in the show where you can play it. Do you know what he said in that? Did you see it?
No, what did he say?
So some fan was like, you can play it.
Yeah, all right, I'll play it.
And then I'll give you my commentary. It made me chuckle.
Oh, he said you gotta shut the fuck up and sit down?
No, the fan said, like, time to take over the game, KD. Like, it was like late in the game. He's like, time to take over. He just immediately was like, shut the fuck up. God, dude. LeBron was yelling at fans a few games ago. Those guys are getting salty.
Yeah, well, that's they were without fans for a year or so, and then that was a worry, was that these filthy fans, these unwashed masses, would not have the courtesies that they once had pre-pandemic.
Or both of those. What is the other like? What is the other like similar thing between those two players at the moment? Like, this is during the Dallas game where Dallas came back and, like, the Nets weren't playing well. And LeBron's not been, like, his team hasn't been playing well. So, like, maybe they're just, like, salty overall about how things are going on their teams that they've built.
Yeah, they're bad losers, that's for sure. Those two guys are not used to losing.
Yeah, so, like, they have very short, like, whereas previous years when they've been doing well, and fans say something, they ignore them.
This is just like Durant's personality, though. He's just very, like, defensive about everything. It's like, dude, he's trying to motivate you. Chill out. It's like a season ticket holder, probably. Tell him to shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
It was some kid who won tickets from a radio station.
Take over the game, Durant. Shut the fuck up.
What the hell are F1 Bozo cards?
Oh, I'll find a picture. Hold on.
What should be worth more, F1 Bozo cards or a Bieber Drake card? Is this
Yeah, I
my
got a
hobby?
Bozo card.
Is this the state of my hobby?
It's not mine.
This is the state of my hobby. The picture of Drake opening wax.
There you go. The good old U-line.
Those are a dependable brand. Much cheaper, too. You can buy those in stock, and they're only $31 each.
Okay, no pumping U-line. We're not
Yeah,
gonna.
even $110 for the same type of plastic with a different brand stamped on the side.
The other one was steel. The $107 one was pure good American steel.
You definitely got me. I thought you knew what F1 Bozo cards are. I thought I was gonna see an F1 Bozo card. Oh, he says
Definitely
F1,
not.
He says F1 cards in general are bozo, pump and dump.
Again, like, it just feels really weird to shit on a space in which people collect that thing. Unless it's just, like, completely a total facade and it's just, like, for the purpose of a pump and dump.
Yeah.
I don't really get that sense entirely for F1. I get, like, this recent release of Topps Chrome, I get it. It's, like, completely feels pump and dumpy to me, but I don't know. What do you think about that?
I think it's a dangerous game, what's happening, because I think new people come into the hobby, they want to, there are some people who love to fall in line with tradition, and then there are plenty of other people who want to chart a new course. And the people who want to chart a new course want to find a new sport, a new product, a new angle, a new approach, and they want to make it their own, and they want to see it succeed. But the thing that's risky about that is that there are reasons why, over time, certain sports, certain positions, certain athletes have proven to be more demanded, more desired by the market than others. So to try and chart a new course without adhering to the sort of the quote unquote laws of the sports collectibles market, that came before is risky. So like one of the things that worries me a lot about, collecting boxers, because like I would love to collect some of my favorite boxers, some of my favorite fighters, but they only fight twice a year. So whereas like collecting the NBA is amazing.
I thought you were talking about underwear, and I was like, what?
Christina thought I was talking about underwear. So
Because you're worried about people coming in and getting burned?
I'm just worried about people getting overly enthusiastic about a market that they've made real from their excitement in the moment, but it doesn't have the fundamentals to support it.
Yeah. Can I give you my counter?
Yeah.
My counter is that, like, I can't really control, or I don't know that I care too much about the person who comes in trying to buy into the hype because they're uneducated and they just get burned. Like, obviously, I don't want that to happen. That's, I don't want to sound like a jerk, but I'm more like talking about the person who actually does like collecting F1, I think. I'm just like pushing aside the person who's like coming in trying to get rich and they get burned. It's like, well, yeah, you fucking didn't do your homework. You bought something that's been hyped too much. You bought it at its peak. What did you expect? Like, we're here, you and I are here to educate on that for sure. So I guess that's valid that, we should be doing our part to like not throw fuel on the fire of something we know probably is going to go back down.
Yep. I think that's right. Preston, just saw you in the chat, buddy. The question that Preston sent in was, are BGS cards becoming a thing of the past? It seems like no one is grading modern with BGS. So, Preston, we touched on BGS and PSA a little bit earlier. But yeah, there's the question, are BGS cards becoming a thing of the past? And do you want them to be? I'll turn the question around on you.
Why is the question asked in that manner? Is that what you're getting at? Is that your frustration that, like, even the question being asked in that way is like implying that you're rooting for it to happen?
Well, to give it the benefit of the doubt, I think there are some people out there who are just upset at BGS because they like BGS and they don't like the direction that their marketing and their presence and their brand equity is headed in. So, this is their way of trying to encourage BGS to step up their game. But I also think there are others out there, the more cynical take is there's people out there who just, have ulterior motives when they're shitting on BGS. So there's maybe a bit of both going on. So I don't know. What are you going to do?
PSA needs BGS a little bit. Like, you need some competition. You need someone to keep you on your toes and, keep you innovating and stuff. So I would think that the leaders at PSA would not want to see BGS, like, die.
Yeah, maybe not. Plus, like, the push for new grading companies to take market share away is also not super well advised from a long-term perspective because of how important population reports are. And these new grading companies are not going to have pop reports. And the grading companies that have existed do have them. But I get it. Yeah, I get people being fed up. I really do. I don't know.
I haven't heard anything about new grading companies in a while. That topic has sort of died down, like the HGAs and the, these sort of like ones that keep popping up randomly that people decide to back without ever seeing anything come out to the public. That's kind of gone away.
Yeah. And plus, like, there's no need, like, PSA fanboys, you have nothing to be insecure about. The PSA is light years ahead of everybody else, and they're growing much faster. So I just let these other guys just flail and do what they're doing. And, that's just kind of my take on it is like, and plus the thing with Beckett too, I mean, it bears the name of James freaking Beckett, who to me is one of the most important figures this hobby has ever had and will ever have. he held the hand of this hobby and ushered it to greatness in the 90s. Full stop. To me, he is the most important figure in the history of this hobby. So for people to shit on the grading company that bears his name is annoying as hell.
Yeah, I was gonna ask if you just like are gonna put him at the top because I'm trying. I can't really think of anyone I'd rank higher.
Definitely not. He is.
Especially after meeting him, and how humble he is about it and stuff.
Oh yeah. Oh, completely. Dude, what is this hobby like without James Beckett? It's not even a fraction of what it is today.
What's the first thing that you hear from people who are not in the hobby, but like your friend that you met at jury duty? The first thing I always hear is, "Oh yeah, I used to have Beckett magazines."
Mm-hmm.
Like that's always what I hear. It's like, "Oh, that because it connects them to that time," and like the Beckett magazines were almost a representation of that era.
Dude, Beckett magazines made it feel like the hobby was the same thing as Sports Illustrated. Like
Yeah.
they were placed on those magazine stands right alongside ESPN magazine and Sports
That was
Illustrated
the best.
and all these.
Oh, I missed that.
Yeah, dude,
At the grocery store.
Beckett's the greatest content creator in the history of the hobby, and nobody's come close since. To put it in modern terms,
Dude, if we had a freaking card ladder magazine at every grocery store, I mean, didn't Dr. Beckett say they were like in the millions, right? Of like sold.
Per sport. They had distribution of like 1 million basketball magazines a month, 1 million baseball a month, 1 million football a month. These guys were doing numbers. These guys were pushing P.
They make our numbers look pretty sad.
Yeah, they make everybody's numbers look sad.
What's the phrase? Put some goddamn respect on his name. Is that that's the fucking slam your table.
All three of y'all, put some respect on the Beckett name.
Put some respect. You gotta say it like respect.
I can't. I can only say it in my mealy-mouthed, meandering fashion. I'm just seeing here. Preston, we hit your question. All right. All right, are we good here? Are we ready to call this thing? I can't believe 60 of you guys sat on since like 40 minutes ago. We were just waiting for you to leave. We were trying to make our content dull and boring, but
I feel like I've just been like half paying attention, but I did fix it. I'm pushing it out right now.
I can tell. I almost knew like the instant that you fixed it. This little smile came on.
It's usually when I find it, because it's like I know what the thing is, I just have to do it. That's my moment where I'm like, yes, I know how to do this, I just have to fix it.
Yeah, thank you, DJ Fettman, for enjoying the show. I am going to need you guys to find something better doing your Thursday nights normally.
So we had much lower numbers tonight on the Thursday. People definitely prefer the Friday.
Or they're just used to it, right? Like, I do understand that people organize their week around the show, and normally they've blocked out their entire Friday night for it, so they weren't prepared for this week.
Yeah, I definitely like the Friday better. So just to remind everyone, when we get back on schedule, not next Friday because we'll be in Vegas, the Friday after, we're going to move back to 9 p.m. Pacific.
Yes.
April 1st.
April 1st. Great.
Everyone's going to be so confused because you're going to be like, guys, we're moving back an hour. And they're going to be like, haha, Chris and Josh, you're trying to April Fool's me. I'm going to show up on time so that I don't miss anything.
On April 1st, Josh and I are also going to announce our new investment project together, which is an NFT index fund.
It can't be that obvious, dude. It's got to be a little bit more believable.
Dude, I bet a decent percentage of people would be like in our DMs, did you really do this?
So on April 1st, Christina, do you just like hide in a dark room?
She didn't take that one at face value. She understood that one.
Like, I don't want to hear anything today.
She's like, every day is April 1st for me.
There was like some really good ones. Google always has really funny ones. Like they'll be like, we released this new product, and there's like every other year or so I'll be like, oh my God, seriously, Google, that is such a bad idea. And they'll be like, wait a minute, that seems so ridiculous. There's no way.
One year we had our what? One year we had our you could make your collection value go to the moon.
We've only had one.
Oh yeah.
Guys.
Forgot about that. Well, Christina put in a bunch of cards too. Didn't you put in like the
I put in all
Sports
Sports Illustrated for Kids April Fool's cards.
Do those
I forgot about the moon.
No.
They don't sell all.
I forgot about that moon button. It just like doubled your collection infinitely.
What I love about that moon button was I literally woke up that morning and I think it was that night when I was doing sales. I was like, Josh, tomorrow's April 1st and we don't have anything to do for April Fool's Day. And he was like, don't worry, I'll do something in the morning and I'll roll it out. And lo and behold, he built that feature for everyone's collection to go to the moon.
I should make it where that day, the emails that go out, I'll just double your collection value in the emails, and it'll be like, your collection increased by... and people are like, oh my God. And they log in, and it's not that.
Yes. Whatever we can do to torture our members.
I mean, dude,
Jokes on
if it's
you guys.
if it goes up, of course they're happy.
Until they see that it didn't.
Oh, well, ignorance is bliss.
Yeah, all right, let's call it. Great Thursday night show. One of the best ever. And
Started from the bottom, now we're here.
we started from the bottom. No show next week because we'll all be in Las Vegas for the Mint Collective. And then,
Maybe we'll do a surprise one?
I don't know. I do not. Somebody, like, I talked about this on Clubhouse, and I was like, I don't want to do a show from the same room. But maybe if one was in,
I don't want to have to. Yeah, I would. I don't want to have to look at you while I'm.
No.
You're right.
It's not the same. It's better if we can do the dual screen. The dual screen action is key.
So you're gonna be like, you're gonna ask me to just like go in an adjacent room.
Okay, we've gone on for a little too long. See you guys.
Card Ladder, the best sports card app on the market. The future of sports cards is here. Card Ladder is the 21st century price guide and market analysis tool for sports cards. The best tools to help you track your cards. Watch the trends, stay informed, compare cards, and track the growth of your personal collection, all in one simple and intuitive platform. Join the innovators, not the imitators. The future is here. The future is now. Card Ladder,